Talk, always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. Israel and Hamas have a deal. I'm Lisa Brady. Mediators confirming an agreement has been reached that includes a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of some hostages.
I am told that the Qatari prime minister himself was in the negotiating room and pushed these Hamas officials to accept the agreement on the table. This is a 6-week agreement that will ultimately see 33 hostages released from Hamas captivity in Gaza.
Sources telling Fox's Trey Yingst at least 23 of those hostages are believed to be alive. Under the deal, Israel is expected to release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. But Secretary of State Antony Blinken said yesterday Hamas is believed to have recruited thousands of fighters, enough to replace the ones killed in the current conflict.
And so while the war will take a pause, it's not over. And the Israelis have not reached that critical objective that they laid out at the very beginning of this conflict to completely dismantle and destroy Hamas inside the Gaza Strip.
More than 100 hostages were freed in a week-long truce in November of 2023. That was a month after the Hamas October 7th attacks. President-elect Trump calls the ceasefire deal epic, suggesting it's a result of his re-election. Also posting online, his team will work closely with Israel and U.S. allies to make sure Gaza never again becomes a terrorist safe haven. Also just getting word from Denmark's prime minister. She told the president-elect in a phone call it's up to Greenland to decide on any independence. Right now, it's an autonomous Danish territory. Threats from China center stage at the confirmation hearing for Secretary of State nominee Marco Rubio, calling the Chinese Communist Party
the most potent and dangerous near-peer adversary this nation has ever confronted. They have elements that the Soviet Union never possessed.
Senator Rubio says much of what's needed to confront China has to happen in the U.S. to avoid reliance on them or other nations for critical supply chains. America is listening to Fox News.
You said bye-bye to big government. Now it's time to trim the fat from big wireless. Pure Talk gives you the exact same service. They use the same cell towers, the same 5G network. You get better customer service, and you pay half the price for the exact same thing. Get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot for just $35 a month. Make the switch. You simply dial pound 250. You say the keyword save now. Save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
All is quiet. 29 should do it for the high this afternoon with sunny skies. Tonight, partly cloudy. We only drop to 27, 28 degrees. Winds turn to the south. Temperatures actually rise on us after midnight. Thursday, sunny and 41 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, though clouds will be on the increase Friday afternoon, 48. And then here comes periods of rain, mainly rain Friday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Thursday, January 30th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Thomas and Bob with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and would like to learn how linking to the market eliminates your fees and will generate you more income? Would you like to know how to lock in your gains every year without selling, even when the market's going down?
Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Thursday, January 30th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
Do you want to kickstart planning for your retirement this year? Well, I know a quick and easy way to do it. It's a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Kind of like getting the Cliff Notes on how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement. Hey guys, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. It's never too early. It's never too late to get control over your finances and your financial future. You can do it with a one-night class taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You're going to learn about tax saving strategies, IRA and 401k withdrawals, Roth conversions, Social Security, and more. There's no cost. All you have to do is bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are still openings for this month's classes and next. So call 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. That's my personal Dave Glover KMOX number, 314-350-8110 for Financial and Tax Architects.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Those hostages aren't back. I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is.
There you have Donald Trump. What was that, like a week ago from today?
Yeah.
Pushing the issue that, and he reiterated this in a couple times because they continued to ask about this specific thing. He had the guy who was in process of making the negotiations to get some sort of deal done between Hamas and Israel and get the hostages back specifically. He said it needs to be done before I take office. He repeated and reiterated it wasn't a situation they were looking for him for to be rectified once he took office. He said it needed to be done before he takes office. And now we see the breaking news out of the Middle East there that at least for a 6-week period of time, a deal has been reached. I'm going to read to you the Fox News report on this breaking news just, 5 days before President Trump is once again President Trump. Fox News reports Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire deal that also ensures the release of hostages, Fox News has confirmed. Quote, a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal was reached following the Qatari prime minister's meeting with Hamas negotiators and separately Israeli negotiators in his office. Separately, a senior Hamas official confirmed to Fox News that a deal was reached. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office has yet to confirm the deal. Reuters also reported that a deal has been reached, citing an official briefed on the agreement. The conflict, which began with Hamas's brutal attacks on October 7th, 2023, has left over 1,200 Israelis dead, more than 250 taken hostage, and thousands of others killed on both sides. From Fox News, President-elect Trump, who threatened last week if a deal wasn't struck before his inauguration day that, quote, all hell will break out, that's what we just heard in that clip, in the Middle East, quickly offered his praise. On Truth Social, President Trump wrote, this epic ceasefire agreement could only have only happened as a result of our historic victory in November, as it signaled to the entire world that my administration would seek peace and negotiate deals to ensure the safety of all Americans and our allies. I am thrilled American and Israeli hostages will be returning home to be reunited with their families and loved ones. The deal, brokered by Qatari negotiators and facilitated by Egyptian intermediaries, also saw significant involvement from the United States. Both the outgoing Biden administration and the incoming Trump administration applied strategic pressure to finalize the agreement, despite concerns about Hamas rearming and internal tensions with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition. Sources told Fox News Digital that a weekend meeting between Netanyahu and Trump's incoming Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, led to the breakthrough. Witkoff's assurances reportedly convinced Netanyahu to accept the deal, despite threats from a right-wing party to withdraw from the coalition if it passed. The terms of this deal essentially lay this out as a 6-week process, and then they will revisit and continue this process. Of course, the circumstances and the context of a deal taking place in 6 weeks look very different than the one currently taking place right now. I've only heard stories. I was not alive during the hostage crisis under Jimmy Carter, but my recollection is this looks a lot like Reagan. And Donald Trump being able to be a part of these negotiations and make part of his demand that this take place before he is sworn in. There's no way that you can say Joe Biden would have gotten this deal done by himself. And if Kamala Harris were to be the incoming president, that this deal would be taking place in this capacity. If anything, potentially more capitulation to Iran, which is what we saw immediately with the Biden administration coming in, and prior to the Biden administration, the Obama administration, pallets of cash and such. Big win for Donald Trump. He's not even the president yet. So
it
much
is.
Winning.
Well, the big win will come. This is sort of the tip of the iceberg, because the big win will come when we see if there's follow through. There's been agreements that have happened so far. The difference is that Donald Trump's going to be president. So will that be the reason for these things to not fall apart? Because they've had agreements, but they don't really go anywhere. This one, if it goes somewhere, it'll be because you have somebody with a firm hand in Washington, D.C. now.
And, I mean, to listen to President-elect Trump's demand that this take place before he swears the oath of office once again, if this isn't a perfect deal, he clearly stated that something needed to take place before he was sworn in. So they were on a ticking clock, and they were able to get something done. It seems as though there would be an eagerness to apply some sort of contract between these two parties, and to do it for the face of saying, you're going to get this done. You're going to do something very public here before I take office. That's going to happen. And if you believe that Donald Trump will do what he says, which is exact all hell to pay, you're going to get something done. Doesn't that seem very different than the current administration's foreign policy of don't? Please? I mean, he should have been at least polite about begging.
Well, he had to sound tough anyway, even though there was no muscle behind it.
Fox, go ahead.
The timing of this is no accident. Clearly, this is because you have a new U.S. president coming in who's going to be very, very firm on these things. So it's all a matter of watching this deal come together, because it still kind of is, even as we speak.
Vicky says on YouTube, I was alive then, and it looks, all caps, exactly
interesting,
like Reagan, which is a story that has permeated time, where I know about the hostage crisis. I know that they were there for a long time, and I know Reagan made a demand, and they were like, okay,
yeah, we
won't bother you anymore. Ben Affleck made a movie about it, my recollection is.
And still took shots at Reagan, which was super cool of him.
Yeah. Fox News goes on to say over 42 days, 33 Israeli hostages are expected to be released. Early stages will focus on civilian women, children, and female soldiers, followed by elderly men. The final hostage in this group is scheduled for release on the 42nd day. On the 16th day, the second phase will begin, addressing the release of younger men, soldiers, and the return of remains. Netanyahu assured hostage families that every captive is accounted for in the deal. Approximately 1,000 Palestinian prisoners will be freed in exchange, with murder convicts barred from returning to the West Bank. Instead, they will be sent to Gaza, Qatar, or Turkey. The ceasefire will also facilitate significant humanitarian aid to Gaza, with up to 600 trucks of supplies entering daily. By the 22nd day, displaced residents will be allowed to return to northern Gaza. Qatari and Egyptian teams will manage vehicle inspections, while pedestrian crossings will not require checks. The IDF will withdraw from the Nitzarim corridor, but maintain a limited presence along the Philadelphia route. I hope I said that correctly. So it's a very regimented layout on these terms. And, of course, after the amount of time that all of this has taken place, it's not like, all right, we're done here. There is going to be a new sheriff in town, and we will see continued pressure there for peace. And where are the Abraham Accords when you need them? It's there with the leadership that implemented them. How quickly can we get back to a place where everyone's like, well, we can make a lot more money around here if we're not killing each other and destroying our land. I guess the question is who's making money off of what?
Yeah, the Abraham Accords still exist, so I guess that's good. I mean, they're hanging by a thread. They haven't really achieved any of the big goals that they were intended to over the last 4 years, but they're still there, so there's a framework for Donald Trump to step back in. I am encouraged by just seeing that, in Tel Aviv, people are out demonstrating. Fox News is covering this and showing it in Tel Aviv, that people seem like, if not hopeful, at least like peeking around the corner going, hey, maybe this is something. There's a lot of people with signs and demonstrating. And so hopefully something is happening. It's clear that this isn't just the same ceasefire deal that has existed a few times under Biden.
It can't be because it's not Biden.
Exactly. This is something that everybody's saying, okay, is this different this time? Is it different? We're waiting to see.
Yeah.
When I was listening to the news that broke about this, whenever I was listening to the Pam Bondi hearing, and they broke in and they're like, hey, new ceasefire. The report that came out basically said that Hamas was trying to hold out, and then the leadership in Qatar, in Qatar, where these meetings were taking place, said, no, you need to take this deal that's on the table. And that was kind of it. And then away they went, and they got the deal done. And to the point about the Abraham Accords, another expert on Fox says this paves the way for the revival of them. So, 5 days out, and things are already changing. I don't know. I'm starting to feel pretty optimistic.
Oh, I've been feeling optimistic. Every day that we get closer, it's like, all right, now we're starting to see some results, and it's
amazing, isn't it?
That's just a point that you can vote for reality or you can vote for fiction. And what you've been sold for so long, something that was really materialized, an idea that has existed for a long time in our country, which is based on Marxism, was able to come together and present itself in something that was palatable for the American people in Barack Obama. He told you that he wanted to change the way our country was. He said it, his words. He wanted to change the fundamentals of the United States of America, and boy, did he. He changed them so dramatically. I've said this before, and I will repeat it, and I'll say it again and again and again, because it's really important to understand. We have real problems. Our real problems need real solutions. I'll just quote what Brian Kilmeade just said on the show while I was standing in here getting ready, and I even said to Ryan, I'm like, that is a really good point. When you look at Los Angeles right now, and you see it's on fire, it doesn't matter if you are super wealthy, middle class, or poor. That fire did not pick and choose whose houses it consumed. All of those people need help right now. And if you are in government, if you are a politician in elected office, and this isn't where your skills are allowed to shine, your ability to be immediately with the people who you serve and provide them quick and expedited processes and assistance to get safe and secure and back up on your feet immediately. If this is not where you shine, get the hell out of politics. Go somewhere else. Go be a pundit on cable news and just jabber away. Don't serve people because you're only serving yourself. If all you do is go on TV over and over and over again to talk about who else's problem this is or whose blame it should be, and you are an elected official, you have to be in that position as an elected official to serve the people, especially in their immediate grave time of need. And in Los Angeles, top to bottom, you're seeing people who have only been in elected office to serve themselves. And we've watched that the last 4 years with the Biden administration. Lord knows who's at the actual epicenter of making decisions for that Biden White House. We've been told and commanded on what we need to identify as a real problem in our country. We've been told white nationalism is a real problem in our country. We've been told that those Christians that might attend school board meetings who don't want like pornography existing in their young child's library, we're told that they are on the top of a list of people we need to consider security threats. We've been told that if your skin color is a certain color, you need to get to the back of the line. That's called racism. And then we're told that the problem is racism, and our silence as somebody who's not an approved qualifying victim in any particular instance, we're told that we need to sit down and shut up. And these are the big problems that need to be fixed. And in the meantime, what do? We watch the people profit, and Black Lives Matter. We watch them profit, buy themselves mansions that they don't even pay taxes on, that they don't even maintain. They take the money from people who actually want to solve real issues that are facing all sorts of colors of people. They take real concerns, they profit on them, and then they serve themselves on them. And it is a plague upon this country. And in last November, we did rectify that to an extent. But the question will be, what kind of implementation will we see with this new administration to make sure that we insulate ourselves from people seeking out these offices like the Gavin Newsoms of the world, the Karen Basses of the world, the Joe Bidens and Kamala Harrises of the world, who seek out those offices to ensure their power, their wealth, their prestige, and to hell with everybody else who got them there. What will the Trump administration do? Well, I haven't even talked about the Pam Bondi hearing this morning. I can't wait to play for you an exchange between Senator Whitehouse and Pam Bondi, who is looking to be the Attorney General of the United States. This is unreal stuff. You'd hardly believe it. The whole system is about to change in 5 days, and America is getting her country back. You are getting your country back, but it's always been a republic if you can keep it. And we are teetering right now, finally, once again, leaning back into the place where the people are in charge. Thank the Lord Almighty that we are in that position. Watching what's taking place on our shores, watching what's taking place on our border, and seeing what Donald Trump is able to manifest when it comes to peace and security throughout the globe before he's even in office, buckle up. We've got a great show for you. We've got peace breaking out in the Middle East, and we've got Lou Holtz on at 125.
Woo!
What a day. What a day.
That is quite a day.
Lou Holtz, yes, that Lou Holtz is going to be with us at 125, and we're going to talk to him about what we've discussed here on the show quite a bit, culture shift. Our YouTube live chat poll for today: is there a religious culture shift taking place in America? Yes or no? Now, that's up for your own interpretation. You vote yes, you vote no, and if you want to clarify your vote, you just leave a comment in the Annie Fry YouTube live chat, and we will feature those comments throughout the course of the show. But we're going to ask him. We've played a lot of those clips. Notre Dame, certainly. Catholic University, not so surprising. But boy, I'm not rooting for Ohio State, but I see a lot of those people that I'm going to be in heaven with, because they are using their faith and putting it into action on both sides of the football. And we're going to see a lot of that face-to-face next Monday in the national championship game. But we're going to ask Coach Lou Holtz about it at 125. Go vote in the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll and tell us if you think there's a religious culture shift taking place in America. And keep it right here. We're going to have my friend Todd Sivia back in studio. When we come back, we can even take some of your questions. He is an attorney. He's an owner of Sivia Law. He is a sponsor of this show and a friend of mine. So we'll talk to Todd when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show. STS-armory.com. Are you looking to make a purchase with a firearm? I have a conceal and carry weapon that I carry, and I was looking to maybe improve that a little bit, make it a little more easy to handle and to fire. And so what basically I do is I go into STS Armory, and I talk to Katie and Jesse both. They are as smart as the other one. And I say, this is what I'm kind of thinking about doing. Then they give me my options. They have a ton of advice. They've fired basically every weapon that exists. I don't know.
They know what they're talking about from personal experience, and they deal with a lot of people who might have similar questions that you do, similar wants, and their guidance is able to make sure that you can make a purchase that you're confident with. STS Armory is in Illinois. STS Armory is in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, and they can guide you through your purchase, answer your questions. You can just go in simply with a FOID card question. Missouri's like, what's a FOID card? Don't worry about it. It's unconstitutional, but we'll go on with that later. You can go in with a FOID card question. You can go in with a CCL question, and they will guide you through getting you back on track with the state of Illinois. All your questions can be answered by contacting them at 618-931-GUNS. You can also go online to sts-armory.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
Lifestyles Unlimited member Chad on the life-changing rewards of real estate investing.
Whenever you have residents coming in thanking you for taking what was dull and drab and turning it around, making their lives better, that's definitely a blessing.
Become a life changer today with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for just $297. A 60% off savings. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007.
January is a great time to practice your 2A skills at the Range St. Louis West, the only NSSF 5-star shooting range in St. Louis County. Right now, you have a chance to win a custom range-themed hockey jersey and a pair of tickets to a Blues game by playing their Shoots and Scores promo all this month. Go visit them at 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin. You can shop online anytime at therangestl.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I'll see you at the range.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. There's something happening in that just took place in Congress, and it's an important issue that we want to talk about. And when I'm thinking about tax issues and making sure planning that for whatever comes after you stop working and estates and all this stuff, I go to Todd Sivia, of course, a great friend of mine and of this show. He's a sponsor of the Annie Fry Show. He's an attorney, and he's the owner of Sivia Law. You can go to civialaw.com to learn more. But there's been a lot of talk. I even gotten a back and forth, Todd, on Twitter regarding the Social Security Fairness Act. So this is something new that took place, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Effective January 5th, Biden signed a law, and it's called the Social Security Fairness Act. For years upon years, if you drew a pension, so if you're a state or federal worker, you wouldn't qualify for Social Security, or you'd get a very minimal amount in your Social Security benefits. And so you couldn't get Social Security and the pension. It was either or. And based upon this new act, it has changed that. So now any government worker, whether it's a teacher, firefighter, police officer, judges, and things of that sort, those individuals now can get the full vesting of what their Social Security would have been.
So I want to pull it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Brad and Ryan are way smarter than I am. I'll just admit it right there. Go ahead, Ethan, clip that. And I think that it's a worthy discussion to just talk about, like, how does Social Security actually work to begin with? So maybe they understand this, but I want to know, like, I've been paying into Social Security forever. I worked at PK's in Edwardsville. It was my first job, making $3 an hour bussing tables.
Yep.
And there was a Social Security line that would come out of my paycheck when I was doing that. Of course, it still is the case here. I've never worked for the government. I've never had a public service job.
Yep.
I've been paying into it. Do I just turn a certain age and get a very specific amount that everybody gets, or is it based on how much I've put in?
It's
I can
based
go
upon...
ahead and answer that. But...
Shush.
Oh, okay.
Shush.
Okay.
Shush.
Todd, you're here. Why don't you go ahead?
So basically,
should have had the laugh track there.
As you accrue it over a certain period of time, and it's based upon your age. So there are certain age markers.
Are we 67?
Yeah,
are
I
we
think
70?
we're 67.
Okay.
So and as you get older, when you hit that magical time period, you have a choice. You can take that money at that point in time and start collecting that benefit. But if we go way back, the 1930s, when this was first established, the people that were going to take Social Security was going to be very, very few people.
Yeah.
People did not live to age 65. Mm-hmm. I mean, no one thought that, I think it was like, I saw a statistic, it was like 1 in 40 people would actually claim that.
Wow.
And now we're down to, 1 in 2, it's supporting for every one employee that's working, for every 4 people that are working, it supports 1 person.
Whew.
So,
because the money going in right now is being immediately taken out to pay for people. It's not like the money that's coming out of my paycheck is going in an Annie Fry account for Annie Fry's retirement down the line.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Everybody, have lots of babies right now. Gonna need it.
And that there's always a risk of, that's one of the problems with Social Security is, will it go defunct? But that's politicians,
sure.
Let them deal with that issue.
So we're speaking with Todd Sivia here in studio, CiviaLaw.com, if you want to learn more and work with him. He's in Missouri and Illinois. So what I hear you saying is if Ryan Wiggins and his lucrative career puts in more into Social Security than I do, he's going to get more out of Social Security than I do?
There's a certain dollar amount that it's that they've figured out that's what you're going to get. You may not ever take as much money as you put in. They're supposed to be investing in it, but
politicians.
Yeah, politicians.
We'll go back to that. So
that's why you're here, Annie.
Yeah, exactly. Just to rattle cages. So now that we find out with this Social Security Fairness Act that people who have paid into the Social Security system and are receiving a pension are going to be able to benefit from both. Is that correct?
That's correct. And it's retroactive to 2024.
What if you've never paid into Social Security? What if your first job was a public service job?
So if you don't have anything in the system, then you don't get anything.
So this isn't if you never worked until you got your first job as a teacher or a police officer or I don't know, mayor or something. If you never worked and had Social Security taken out of your paycheck, you're not now going to get Social Security.
Correct.
So you're telling me, Todd, that the only people who are now able to draw from Social Security are people who had prior to public service or post public service had money taken out of their check.
Absolutely.
And put into the Social Security system.
Yeah. And before the break, we were kind of chatting. My wife is a school teacher, and she worked for, I think, 20 years.
Man, you fit right in here. We're all married to teachers. We only allow guests that are married to teachers.
There you go. and she would have received that public benefit. with teacher retirement and things of that sort, she would have been disqualified for Social Security. Well, she got out of the public schools. She's now in private. So she's been paying in for the past 10 years into the Social Security, and she would not have received any kind of benefit associated with it.
See, I feel this has been such a political. People have reacted to this so politically. I believe Republicans voted for this and Democrats.
Yeah,
I think it was a very
bipartisan.
bipartisan bill, and it's kind of it's like everything, which is politics. It's just marketing. Do you want people to be mad today? All right, let's just say it this way.
Yeah.
My husband is one of those people too. He's technically a second career teacher. He got a degree with me in TV radio, and that worked out. So now he is a very successful teacher, but he worked in the TV radio industry, and then he worked teaching for 4 years in private school. And it wasn't until he was in his 30s till he was working in the public school system. And I'm telling you what, like all through college and everything, he was working 2 and 3 jobs, and that money was going into Social Security. And the day he qualified for a public pension, everything he invested into Social Security was no longer accessible to him.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair to me.
Yeah, I mean, most teachers I meet with, and they only get like $400 or $500 for Social Security. Now their pensions are pretty nice
Until they run out, but go on.
Well, but there's always this back and forth of a lot of times you can claim your spouse's Social Security too. Well, that was also covered in the Windfall Act. So that is eliminated too. So you're not gonna, if a spouse dies, you're gonna benefit from it.
So Todd, I want to ask you about the other end of this, because it's never just simply cut and dry, like this is all good or this is all bad. What are the major detractions from the Social Security's Fairness Act? What are people pushing back on right now after this has taken place? That anything that you can speak to about the problems that might come from it?
Well, figuring out when to claim Social Security is always is going to be something to be knowledgeable about. That you now have this benefit, but 2, if you did claim Social Security and you are on Social Security and you're a teacher, firefighter, or anybody else like that, you will be receiving a big check, and be ready for it. So you've got all of 2024's money accrued that is going to drop into your account, and that's all taxable income. So it's going to be a kind of a surprise. Oh, oops. Yeah, that's great that I'm getting this, but this year, be ready for it, because it will throw things off from a tax perspective. So just be ready. Watch your required minimum distributions, which are required after a certain age, from pulling out of IRAs and things of that sort. Minimize your income.
Todd, I talk a lot about how you've helped my family. We got our trust established. You've worked with other family members that I have, and they all rave about their experience of working with you. It is January. I got my W-2 email, like this is in, and I'm always trying to get that done. The second I have all the documents, I want to file.
Yeah.
What is your advice to people right now who, anything new in 2025 filing taxes right now for those 2024 taxes that you want to make sure people are aware of?
For employers, this is if you own a business or anything else like that, it's a good time to look and see if you want to offer 401ks or retirement plans. There is a great tax credit that's available to those individuals. It is dollar for dollar match on any kind of expense that you may have, up to $5,000. Plus, any contributions that the employer is giving, you get a dollar for dollar match up to $1,000 per employee. So that was a kind of that's been one not a lot of people know about. But
how much when you go through and you're planning out your trust, or your powers of attorney and everything that go along with that, when you're putting things into an estate and getting that all lined up, which is what you were an expert at, Todd, how much of what you do for people is based on tax implication?
Oh,
is it like all of it?
there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, we're dealing with issues, whether we're talking about in Illinois, the estate tax, it's a lower amount. It's $4 million. So I'm dealing with that. But the traditional view of IRAs and how you have beneficiaries set up for that is, that's all tax implications as well.
You ever get a hold of somebody's plan, estate? Maybe they had something. I bet you deal with a lot of people who had something put together like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, probably super out of date. Maybe that's better than nothing. Do you ever get a hold of something and then at the end you've like saved them just a boatload of money?
Oh, all the time. All the time. I mean, because just setting up beneficiaries and knowing which beneficiaries to set it up for example, minors. I mean, if I, with some preparation, so I got to give that caveat, but with some preparation, giving minors part of your IRA on either the first to die or the second to die, I mean, they're tax-free up to $12,500. So, I'm saving, at least anywhere between, to deal with a minor, that's $4,000.
Yeah.
That's 1 year. And if we do that across multiple years, the savings and taxes is astronomical if you kind of run.
Very cumulative.
Yeah. If you run pencil and paper of what you can do and think about, and a lot of people don't really think about it, or you can just not plan and give it to your kids, and all of a sudden they get this time bomb, i.e. your 401ks. We're talking about retirement accounts and things like that, and Social Security. All that can drop into one of your kids, and it'll throw them into the 30% tax bracket.
Real quick before we let you go, we're speaking with Todd Sivia of Sivia Law, SiviaLaw.com. What about those people that you talked about? Okay, so mom and dad didn't plan accordingly, but they passed away.
Yep.
Now you're the kid, and you're like, oh my gosh,
right?
This is a ton of money, but I don't know what to do. Do you talk to those people?
Oh yeah, all the time. Because educating them on how do you take that money and be efficient with it, making sure that it's in a tax. You're thinking it from a tax perspective. It's very, very key.
One of the other things that Todd works with is you've got your real estate license. You understand property and all of that stuff. I really encourage you, if you're listening right now and you have questions, if you want to know more information, to contact Todd. He's wonderful. I personally am a client of his. Family members of mine are clients of his. He's a whiz when it comes to these types of things. But I'm really glad that we talked about that Social Security Securities Fairness Act that was just signed into law, bipartisan, signed by Joe Biden. And it is political. Have you heard about that, Ryan? Did you know about it?
I didn't know anything about that.
Your microphone.
I didn't know anything about it.
Really?
No, I've not even heard of it.
Has your wife? She's always been a private educator. So
No, she actually started in public.
So this would probably affect her.
Yeah.
And your wife is a public educator.
Always public.
But she probably has had a paycheck before she paid into Social Security.
Even for myself, I was a substitute teacher for a while in the public school system, and I paid into TRS.
Yeah.
When I was doing that, not Social Security. At least I don't think I was paying into Social Security. And I had jobs before that and jobs after that, so this affects me too.
Yeah.
And there, if it's small, you can get out of it, but.
Is there a way that people can take this? Is there a way that people can take advantage of what was just done right now to screw the taxpayer?
Oh, well, I mean, it covers anybody that has a large pension. You look at somebody that has multiple pensions that are making $200,000 or $300,000
now they're
going to
get Social Security,
and now they get Social Security on top of that.
But just to reiterate, though, they only get the Social Security value that they paid into.
Correct. It's based upon that, the number of credits and it's 40 credits, so it's 10 years worth of work.
I really feel like the concern that I have as a taxpayer here is the taxpayer dollar, the size of the pensions that they're getting, more than if you paid X into Social Security, you should be qualified to take X out of Social Security. Right. And if people are like, but they're getting massive pensions. Well, then let's talk about the taxpayer-funded pensions that they're getting, as opposed to, as a tax-paying citizen, if I pay into something, I think I should be able to get that out of it.
Right.
So maybe there is a problem here, but I don't think that the Social Security Fairness Act is necessarily the problem. It might be the overly bloated and multiple taxpayer-funded pensions that exist.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you asked him because the whole time I'm going, well, there's got to be like an other side to this.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it. That is the other side is that, well, if you have a big pension, but it's still just what you paid in.
Right. And like if you want to, there are people who are complaining about exactly what Todd was saying.
Yep.
That if you, these people are getting 6-figure pensions times 2 or 3 because they've been in all of these different places and now they're going to get Social Security too. Well, stop for a minute. Do you want, the problem here is not the money that got taken out of someone's paycheck and put into Social Security. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater because there are a lot of people like Todd, like you said, your wife, your wife, Ryan, your wife, probably Brad, my husband, all have paid into this. And there are no 6-figure pensions coming our way.
No.
In fact, it would be fiscally punitive. So it's a convenient thing for me, for people on the right to shake their fist at the sky about how terrible it is that they're going to pull Social Security too on top of their pensions. Whine and moan about the pensions. That's the problem.
Well, and I don't think it's based upon what I saw. It's really not. It won't be a big hit to the Social Security. It'll be a hit, but it's not going to reduce it by 15 years of what the pension fund has. But we're talking about maybe 6 months to 2 years or something along those lines where it's impacting the viability of Social Security. So it's not like this, is going to impact a lot of people or
bankrupt the system.
Bankrupt the system that's already
bankrupt.
It's already bankrupt. Yeah, it's already bankrupt.
Yeah.
Everybody stick your finger in the pie.
It's only ever been Social Security for us, and we've always known we're screwed. So welcome to the club, folks. All right. Todd Sivia, thank you for being in here with us.
Not a problem.
Great information. I've had conversations about the Social Security Fairness Act with people. I'm so glad we could get some clarity for that today. Yeah. Check them out at CiviaLaw.com. You can call them directly at 833-995-WILL. A very smart move on your part. I say that as a client myself, and we're so glad to have him be a friend of the Annie Frey Show. Quick break. When we come back, Ryan Wiggins improves this hour even more with Wiggins America.
Darn right.
We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Jerk it out.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
Hi, Chad Hansen from Hansen's Tree Service. Much like the human body, trees require a specific combination of nutrients to thrive. Our certified arborists can come to your property and prescribe the ideal treatment to ensure your trees and plants thrive this coming season. Check us out today at hansenstree.com and take advantage of our winter savings.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
We got a real thinker for you for the poll today. The question is there a religious culture shift taking place in America? Yes or no? Some lively discussion happening in the YouTube live chat, so log on there and let us know what you think. It's just a yes or no, but a lot to it. YouTube live chat poll, is there a religious culture shift taking place in America? It is 12:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
CoxHeroes.com.
Let's show our appreciation for local heroes. Mark Cox here. Nominate a first responder and their department could get lunch from Grill Master Tony's. I'll personally deliver it. Share their story at 971talk.com. Nominate them today.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Wiggins!
Oh!
Wiggins! Yeah, tequila time. Thanks for being here at 12:50, Ethan.
12:50 tequila time on a Wednesday.
Yes.
Happy hump day.
Tequila Mockingbird.
What?
Nothing.
Is that a thing?
It's a joke.
To kill a mockingbird.
Oh, yeah, there we are. Yeah.
You're
Oh.
in prime time dad form.
That sounds like
Yeah, that's kind of a dad
that
joke.
sounds
That's
like
totally
the
a
hot
dad
frosty
joke.
version of that book.
It does kind of. This is ways to help you save even more money. We started talking about this yesterday, how to change your relationship with money. This is practical advice.
Lesson 1, hire Todd Sivia.
Yes, that is lesson 1. Lesson 2, here are things to buy at the dollar store.
Oh, God.
This won't save you quite as much as if you were to call Todd Sivia. But these are
it's a
things
start.
you should be buying at the dollar store. Now, keep in mind, the dollar store is no longer just $1. It is $1.25. But it's still a deal comparatively. When you are buying, anything come to mind first before?
Hold on. Have you seen the Nate Bargatze sketches SNL has done a couple, and he did one for like a Nashville Christmas thing where he comes on and he explains things, but then like he's talking about the first is where he's George Washington and he's explaining what America's going to be, and he's like talking about the metric system and the standard system. We should, in Nate Bargatze fashion, come up with a name for the $1.25 amount so that it can be a dollar store, and $1 just means $1.25 right now. Because that's like that is the heart and soul of inflation right there.
Mm-hmm.
You have the idea of a general store, a dollar general store, and it's not even $1 anymore.
Well, Dollar Tree in particular, because Dollar General had already moved away from it long ago. But Dollar Tree was everything is $1.
And they had to change all their signage to say $1.25.
$1.25 now, except that there's like a whole aisle that's all dollar plus.
Like, yeah, but so is Walmart.
Wow, amazing. I've never thought of this idea where I could spend more.
Dollar plus tree.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty much what it is. But there are certain items that they say are still the best to buy at dollar stores.
Okay.
Number 1, greeting cards.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Do you ever look at the back of the greeting card when you get it, though, to find out?
Well,
do
I
you
only
care?
buy 99-cent cards.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you only buy them from the dollar store?
No. You buy
Because
them
they're
from
actually
Walgreens.
2 for $1 at the dollar store.
No, but I very rarely need to buy two gift cards at the same time.
That's true. Unless there's twins. Which
Gift cards
my
or
kids-
greeting cards?
Share that card, share everything else.
No. They
When
would
I
tell
buy
you
that
no.
99-cent card from Walgreens and give it to both of them, it still is 2 for $1.
You know what you could do? Also, buy one card, rip it in half.
All right, Solomon.
Now we're talking. Now we're getting somewhere. Finally, this has some substance to it.
Mm-hmm.
Violence.
Yeah, and not long ways, not like down the crease, right down the middle.
Yeah.
Dollar store greeting cards are number 1. Number 2 is gift wrap paper and supplies.
I wonder how cheap it is. I wonder if that stuff tears easily. Gift bags and stuff.
Gift bags that's where you get them.
Yeah.
I don't even know where else I've ever gone to get gift bags.
Other people's parties.
Yeah.
You going to keep that?
1,000%.
I've saved you
And I'll
guys
take
this.
that off your hands if you're just going to throw it away.
You have a family Christmas party and you're like sending your kid who's old enough but to be sneaky but young enough to look innocent, be like, go get that bag. Slip it in here. Just go get that
I've
bag.
never done that.
Get the bag. Go get the bag.
You're the one who taught me that.
No, I didn't.
You were doing that at my daughter's birthday party.
That sounds like something I would do.
I know.
You're not
sure if that's real or
I did
not.
not do that. I can tell you were making that up. I will say this, though. My kids have gotten to the point where they're old enough now, 10, 10, and 7, where they're actually asking us ahead of time, can you do less gift bags? We like the wrapping paper.
Christmas, we don't put a single thing in a gift bag unless it's
unless it's like a one-off, like not a gift exchange. Like if you're just bringing something for somebody, it's going to be in a gift bag. But if it's a sit-down event of opening things, it's wrapping paper all the way. Birthday gifts, here's your gift bag.
Do you ever put multiple gifts in one gift bag? Like, here, I got you some batteries and socks.
Not for my kids.
Oh, man,
No,
we
I
throw-
will
we throw
literally.
stuff together
I will
all the time.
literally look at our kids' presents and be like, "Gosh, Jensen needs one more gift. Go get her some socks." And then you put the socks in there.
Uh-huh.
You find something practical and you wrap it.
I tell you what, when we, a few weeks back, Christmas time, I should have said that one of my favorite Christmas traditions was being retaught how to wrap every year, because that is something that my mom and now my wife have to do every
Not your
single
skill?
year. No,
Can
not
I
my
say-
skill
can-
at all.
I'm-
I just
my-
forget.
My husband and I used to get frustrated because I'm the gift buyer, and it's just not like he's good at brainstorming things, but he's not going out and thinking big picture of everything we need to buy, i.e. spend money on. So I'd buy all these things, and then he'd end up wrapping them, and sometimes I would get frustrated because I was doing so much of the buying and everything. And then one year we decided he doesn't mind and is good at wrapping presents, and I'm good at buying them. So I just do the buying. He does the wrapping. We each are doing what we're good at, and we are grateful for each other for it.
That is amazing.
That's
that
a
you have
classic-
found somebody that could do that.
A classic, tell me what to do, honey.
Yes, and in both, like if he needs help wrapping, I can help him. But it's mostly me just saying, okay, this is for this person. This is for this person, and he just goes like a machine.
I would think 9 out of 10 people would be better at the buying part. And then finding that one person who's the rapper,
But it's
you've
not
really
just
found
it's
something
not just
special.
finding the right gift to buy. It's budgeting.
So many people have come to me as a person who's written books and said, you know what, I really have a lot of great ideas for books. I need somebody to write it. Yeah.
Why don't you just
you
say
and
what
everybody
you wanna
else.
Say? Why don't you just say what you want to say?
I don't want to say anything.
Why don't you just tell people where they can buy your book?
I didn't even know.
Plug it up.
Do you?
Amazon.
On Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. What are they called?
The segment's almost over.
Cleaning supplies. Other things from dollar stores that you should be buying is cleaning supplies like Ajax and Fabuloso.
I
What
love
country are we in?
Purple Fabuloso is fantastic.
Right?
Cleaning. That's what we clean our floors with.
See? Fabuloso. And Pine Glow.
Sounds really enthusiastic.
GLO. No W on it because it's a dollar store.
I think that's just the name of it.
You lost the W with the deal. Toothpaste is another one, and party supplies. Hair accessories I wouldn't know anything about, and I'm trying
Why?
to get to the
Why
last
not?
couple because of my lack of it, although I do braid my leg hair now.
Gross.
What about reading glasses? That one's on the list that you should buy at a dollar
I
store.
don't know why you're looking at me, old man.
I don't know either. I don't use those. And dog toys. Dog toys?
I don't know if I would buy dog toys. I wouldn't
No,
want them. If I wouldn't want
I
cheap
wouldn't.
dog toys that would fall apart. My doggy would
No?
choke on them.
Braiding your leg hair?
It's
they
time
did-
to go to break. It's time to go to break.
All
Deroy
right, fine.
Murdock. Deroy Murdock went to California, saw the fires, and is going to report back. And coach Lou Holtz at 125.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
So Tammy Dittmore and the Dittmore Group, that's DITTAMORE group.com, thedittmoregroup.com. These folks know how to get the job done buying and selling homes. If you have been thinking about moving, you need to contact them, and you can reach them directly at 618-531-4652. That's 618-531-4652. These are experts in Missouri and Illinois, so you can reach out to the Dittamore Group and talk to Tammy, Zach, Pat, Abby, and Trisha about what you are looking to accomplish. Do you need a fast sale? Or are you thinking, 2025 might be the year that we are going to look into selling our home? What do you think? And they will tell you quickly what kind of future you might have in selling that home, what kind of price you might be able to ask for, and what the market might look for your purchase. Reach out to the Dittamore Group and talk to them about buying and selling your properties. 618-531-4652, thedittamore.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Mediators say there's a deal. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Israeli Prime Minister's office says some details are still being finalized on a ceasefire and hostage agreement with Hamas. His cabinet would also have to vote on it, expected to include the release of 33 hostages, some already dead.
It's a monumental period right now for the Israelis. It is also a period of mixed emotions because they understand these hostages will come out and they will pay a serious price in getting them home. They will have to give up hundreds of convicted Palestinians that are currently sitting in Israeli jails.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The deal would also include a 6-week pause in fighting. President Biden just releasing a written statement confirming a deal has been reached. The Qatari prime minister says his country will work with the U.S. and Egypt to ensure it's implemented. The initial word of a deal coming during a confirmation hearing for Secretary of State nominee Marco Rubio, who says any permanent ceasefire in Gaza has to include the release of all hostages.
If it doesn't, there won't be a ceasefire for long. That is the linchpin of what's happened now. Hamas has been severely degraded, but these people, that include a number of American citizens, need to be home as soon as possible.
The president-elect vowing Gaza will never again become a terrorist safe haven. Several Trump nominees facing confirmation hearings today, including Attorney General pick Pam Bondi, trying to reassure senators she won't put loyalty to the president-elect over the law.
I sit up here and speak the truth.
Rejecting any suggestion she'll say what's necessary to win confirmation, Democratic Senator Mazie Hirono pressing her to confirm a Trump loss 4 years ago.
Who won the 2020 presidential election? Joe Biden is the president of the United States. Ms. Bondi, you know that there is a difference between acknowledging it and, I can say that Donald Trump won the 2024 election. I may not like it, but I can say it.
Bondi's confirmation hearings continue tomorrow. America is listening to Fox News.
You said bye-bye to big government. Now it's time to trim the fat from big wireless. Pure Talk gives you the exact same service. They use the same cell towers, the same 5G network. You get better customer service, and you pay half the price for the exact same thing. Get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot for just $35 a month. Make the switch. You simply dial pound 250, say the keyword, save now, save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
All is quiet. 29 should do it for the high this afternoon with sunny skies. Tonight, partly cloudy. We only drop to 27, 28 degrees. Winds turn to the south. Temperatures actually rise on us after midnight. Thursday, sunny and 41 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, though clouds will be on the increase Friday afternoon, 48. And then here comes periods of rain, mainly rain Friday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage is a phone call that you need to make to improve your mortgage situation. Whether you are purchasing a home or you want to refinance your home, Stewie can help you with a bagel loan. The bagel loan is a way to get your mortgage, like a bagel mortgage, and you go through the process. Guess what? $0 in closing costs. You go through the process, you agree on a price to purchase the home, or maybe you are looking to refinance the mortgage you have right now. You get that interest rate locked in, and then you go through the process, and that's that closing cost. It hits you right in the gut. Well,
Well, not with the bagel loan. You just can save thousands of dollars on acquiring that new mortgage and only using the bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage at 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. That's the number to reach him directly. And I, myself, a two-time customer of the bagel loan, can speak to Stewie's honesty, his integrity, making sure that as you walk through this process, he's going to position you in the best economical situation for yourself. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
A 2024 survey by Navitas Health Solutions reported that 48% of Americans have been unable to fill a needed prescription at least once due to the cost. RX Outreach, an online nonprofit mail-order pharmacy based in St. Louis, is committed to providing safe and affordable medications for everyone. They offer over 950 medicines for chronic illnesses and conditions and ship to all 50 states, regardless of insurance, without membership fees or copays. Contact RX Outreach at 314-222-0472 or visit RXOutreach.org.
Guns and hoses usually means boxing, but January 18th, it's all about soccer. After the St. Louis Ambush faced the Empire Strikers at the Family Arena, first responders take the field. One ticket covers both games. Get yours now at 971talk.com/events.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
There are large swaths of the city with no emergency response resources available.
Are we going to be having the same conversation next year and the year after?
We can't.
That is a LA City Councilwoman Tracy Park talking about how these individuals, gosh, this has been burning for over a week now, have no emergency response resources. If you're in an elected position in this country at any level of government, you've got to be on the front lines of providing the emergency response that people need at a time like this. You got to ask yourself if the people of Los Angeles and Palisades and Malibu and all of these individual places that have experienced these absolutely catastrophic fires are questioning the leadership that they have in place right now. Let's talk to our friend Deroy about it. Deroy Murdock joins us once again, nationally syndicated columnist, a Project 21 ambassador, Fox News contributor. Deroy, welcome back. It's always good to have you here.
Great. It's great to be with you, Annie.
My understanding is that, have you had the chance to go out to California and experience what has taken place?
Yeah, by total coincidence, I had a trip planned there anyway, and the fires broke out Tuesday of last week. I happened to be in Southern California, so I took advantage of the opportunity to go visit the Pacific Palisades and take a look at the damage up close and personal, which I did on Sunday afternoon between about 3:30 and about 5 when the sun went down. So I had about 90 minutes racing the sun as it was dropping. And, of course, because there's no electricity and the evacuation and everything else, When the sun goes down, it just goes pitch black there, and there's no one around, eerie silence, and it was quite something. The good news I can tell you is we spoke last week about my high school, Palisades High School, from which I graduated, and the reports were that it was burned to the ground, completely gone. I walked through the campus, and there are some bungalows at the east end of campus, which are kind of new. Those burned, and I think the building where the shop classes were, metal shop, wood shop, what have you, I think that burned too. But apart from that, all the original buildings are there, intact,
that's great.
Beautiful. If you stood at the front of campus and didn't see the bungalows in the back, it looks just like the kids are going to be there, tomorrow morning. So that's great news. So I was very pleased with that. But then you go across the street, right across Sunset Boulevard, and there was a big church there, and the church burned, and the only thing left are the iron girders. And when you look at it, it looks almost like the initial artist sketch when the artist said, okay, let me just do a quick, 10-second line drawing to give you an idea of what I think the church should look like. And it's gone right back to what that sketch looked like. I mean, just a few big broad lines where the iron girders are, and everything else is burned out. And you drive along Sunset Boulevard, the Gelson's Market's burned down. There's a Bank of America that burned down. J.P. Morgan Chase burned down. One business after another gone. And then you go through the residential areas, pretty much west of Chautauqua, if people know that area, Chautauqua West, mainly Sunset north. There's a little bit below Sunset, but a lot more damage north of Sunset. And you just see one burned down house after another. You see the chimneys, you see the front porch, like the front steps in concrete, and then everything else gone. Then you look right across the street, and it looks like nothing happened. And you'll see the beautiful houses there, and the shrubs, and the rose bushes, and the landscaping. It looks like just another beautiful day in the Palisades. So very, very random as to how the fire went down one street, not another, one side of the street, not another. Usually you'll see cases where everything burns down and one house survives. I did see the exact opposite in an area closer towards, I think the street is Toyopa, if I remember correctly. Everything looks beautiful, intact, like nothing happened. And one particular street, one particular house in the middle of the block burned to the ground. And whenever that poor homeowner comes back and sees his or her house gone and everything else intact, that person's going to think, what did I do to deserve this? Was it something I said? So that's kind of the exact opposite of what you see in many other places, which is one house standing surrounded by devastation. This is one house gone surrounded by beauty, basically.
Man, I mean, it's got to be breathtaking to see. It's something that you can see it on television, but when you're amidst it, it is just very, I'm sure, humbling to see what can happen in this event. Is it something is this so large and so big that you can't prepare for it? Do you see negligence right now, or is this just that act of God that you fear can happen?
Well, I'd say in terms of being able to take all of this in, what you do see on TV is the destruction. I mean, it's not interesting when a plane lands safely at LAX. It is interesting when a plane crashes somewhere. So what's interesting is really the houses that burn down. What's not interesting are the ones that survive. So what you do not see on TV is how much of the Palisades still is there. Now, the destruction is widespread, enormous. I don't want to trivialize that. But the good news is there's probably more Pacific Palisades remaining than people might think, having watched what's on the news. But the devastation is vast and deep. Act of God, I don't blame Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass for the Santa Ana winds. They cannot control that. What they should be able to control is things like the fire department budget, how much the Department of Water and Power does in terms of maintaining reservoirs, making sure that water hydrants have water flowing through them. And in that respect, these people drop the ball miserably, I think, to the point of negligent homicide. Wow. People like Gavin Newsom have spent so much time in office, worried about equity, worried about sanctuary cities, focused on electric vehicle mandates and that sort of stuff. And, you need to focus on the basics, which is making sure that your constituents can go to sleep in their homes and wake up peacefully and return home after work or school to the homes that they've purchased and that they love so much. And when it comes to basic things like making sure that you have water in the reservoirs and water coming through the hydrants, these guys screwed up. This Centinez Reservoir at the top of Pacific Palisades has been empty since February of last year. I don't know how long it takes to fix the cover on a reservoir, but it shouldn't be 11 months, and I don't get the sense that we're anywhere close to having that done. I mean, that should be the kind of thing like, okay, let's take 2 or 3 weeks, fix this, and put the cap back on, and make sure that water is ready and available for whatever emergency can pop up. Karen Bass cut $17 million from the fire department budget. By my rough calculation, that could buy probably somewhere around 51 brand new fire trucks, about $300,000 each. That's not a deluxe model. It's kind of a basic model. There are a lot of places where just having a basic fire truck on the street would have helped, but she decided to take that money out and spend it on all kinds of other stuff. And, of course, she wasn't there. She was off in Ghana enjoying the inauguration of an African president when she should have been in town directing the command to defend her constituents. And then the head of the DWP, the Department of Water and Power, she's a woman named Janice Quinones, and she said in an interview in July of last year, it's important to me that everything we do is through an equity lens and social justice and making sure that we right the wrongs of the past. And the triumph of equity for everyone is something we're trying to achieve. Look, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's not one customer in Los Angeles who's not getting water or power or natural gas because that person is black or Hispanic or Jewish or white or anything else. Now, maybe your water's cut off because you didn't pay your bill. There's no electricity coming to your house because your check bounced, maybe. But I don't think there's one person in New York, in L.A. who's told, oh, that person's black, let's cut that guy's electricity off. Or I hate Jews, let's turn off that person's gas. My guess is that battle was won years ago, and this Miss Quinones should focus on making sure water goes through the pipes and water comes through the hydrants, and leave the focus on equity, the NAACP and other folks, and stop fighting the battles of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. It'd be like having somebody running a hospital and saying, my clear focus here is to stamp out scurvy. I want to make sure there's no scurvy here in our town. Well, I'm against scurvy too, but guess what, honey? That was taken care of a long time ago. You can move on to lung cancer or breast cancer or diabetes or something things that remain problems today.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, our friend here every Wednesday on the Indy Fry Show. The negligence or malfeasance, or as you said, you related it to homicide. Watching the fire spread, the lack of response, the lack of emergency declaration out of Los Angeles, these are all things that you would hope that your elected officials would be spending their time on. You've articulated quite a few things that they have been focusing on that don't stop fires from taking homes of black people or white people or brown people. Do you feel as though, from your conversations with people, from spending some time in Southern California, that the sentiment towards those elected officials could make any sort of political shift happen in California?
I think it will to a degree. I mean, I don't think California is about to turn into Utah, but I think there are a lot of people who are saying, look, all this other stuff you're focusing on is nice and fun and wonderful if you actually can have your school intact and be able to attend it, and if you can come home from work and your house is still there. But when something that basic is not happening, and you've got something like 30,000 people evacuated, I think it's 17,000 buildings and structures destroyed in the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire in Altadena and Pasadena. A lot of those folks are going to say, equity and diversity, all those things are lovely, but guess what? I don't have a house, and your job is to make sure I could have a house and not have it burned to the ground. You didn't do that. So I think people are going to be a lot more skeptical of this nonsense and expect to have leaders who are actually competent and know what they're doing and focus on the big important stuff and not get so distracted by the bells and whistles that the meat and potatoes don't get taken care of, which is unfortunately what's going on in the town in which I was born and grew up.
Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now. I wanted to ask you about all of that, especially with your personal connection to it. Before I let you go, I do want to ask you about your thoughts on some of the confirmation hearings that we've heard. Pete Hegseth yesterday, Pam Bondi today. I know there are other ones that are taking place as well. How are you feeling about Trump's nominees, their appearances before these Senate committees, and the likelihood that they will get confirmed?
I think the likelihood is much better now. The GOP has a majority in the Senate of 53 seats, so there's no need to have any Democrats support any of his nominees as long as the Republicans stick together. I think there was some question about Pete Hegseth early on. I think his confirmation hearing yesterday was very solid. He seems very capable, unflappable, cool, calm, and collected, so I think he did himself a lot of good. There probably are a lot of Democrats who vote against it, maybe all of them, but as long as the Republicans stick together, he should be fine. And I think Joni Ernst had some questions about him, as did Lindsey Graham. They seem to be back in the boat, rowing in the same direction. So I think that he'll get through. Kash Patel will get through. I think they're all going to get through, unless there's some strange, shocking surprise that pops up out of nowhere. And that's how it should be. A president should be able to pick his team and get the people in who will implement whatever the agenda was that got the candidate elected, and that's certainly true as much of Donald J. Trump as was for Joe Biden. And I can't think off the top of my head of any of Biden's cabinet nominees who were blocked by the GOP. I think he got all of his cabinet nominations. Some judges may have gotten scuttled, but as far as his cabinet, I think he got all of his appointees in. And unless there's somebody who's egregiously, completely inappropriate for the job, that's how it should be. And I think Trump is going to get all of his nominees in, and that'll be probably early on, soon after he's inaugurated next week.
Well, Deroy, as I calculated, the next time we speak, we will have a new president, and we will be back into an America First mentality. Of course, we're seeing the benefits of his incoming presidency happening in the Middle East today, and I'm looking forward to our conversations in the future because the times are changing, and we're going to be able to have those discussions with such great detail throughout the course of this year. We're always grateful for you.
And not a week too soon.
Not a week too, that's for sure. Deroy, thank you so much. Good to speak with you.
All right, Annie. Thanks very much.
Take
Talk
care.
next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Deroy Murdock is our friend on Wednesdays, a nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and a Fox News contributor. When we come back, we're going to connect with Coach Lou Holtz. What an honor for me. We've spoken to him one time before. Of course, you've heard me talk about being a Notre Dame family, football family. In our home, we cheer for the Irish. My husband has watched the Notre Dame football program since he was a little kid because it was on NBC, and we grew up in a time before cable, and that's just what was offered up. So I have, by way of marriage, become a Notre Dame football fan, been able to attend Notre Dame football games. So that is my connection to NCAA football and watching them participate on Monday. We're going to get Donald Trump as president in the afternoon and a Notre Dame-Ohio State championship football game on Monday evening. It's going to be quite a day. We've covered quite a bit on this show what seems to be a movement that is reflected certainly in college sports. I've seen it in professional sports as well. The YouTube live chat poll for today: is there a religious culture shift taking place in America? Yes or no? You can weigh in on that on the Annie Fry YouTube live broadcast. The poll is in the live chat. Your comments as well. Once you place them in there in the live chat, we'll feature some of those. But we want to ask a man who's very, very close to this particular moment in time. Close to his faith, close to college football, close to specifically, of course, Notre Dame football. Coach Lou Holtz on the Annie Fry Show when we come back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
RulerFoods.com. Saving made simple when you shop at Ruler Foods. You've got one near you. Why haven't you visited them yet? Make that your plan this weekend. Before we get to the big game on Monday, you might be having people over, cheering for one team or the other. Save on that cart that you fill with food. Ruler Foods helps the Fry family do that, and I'm excited for them to do that for you as well. In January, they've got 25 days of savings every day, January 1st through January 25th, so you still got a few days left. You can enjoy unbeatable deals on different grocery essentials. This is what they do. They focus on helping you save money on the products that you are traditionally putting in your cart in other places. Get them for less at Ruler Foods. You can shop at any of them across the bi-state region. There's lots of different ones across the area. But if you go online to rulerfoods.com, you're going to be able to find the different locations, the one that's most conveniently located towards you. Maybe it's by your home, place of business. Maybe it's where you're going to go after church. Reach out to rulerfoods.com and find your Ruler Foods. Give it a try and let me know how you felt about the savings. They have the name brands you love, but they also carry those Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. Find all the details online at rulerfoods.com.
Damon John here, the People Shark. In the early days of FUBU, I relied on my personal credit cards and faced overwhelming debt. I was on the verge of losing my home and my company. I got lucky. My company's success saved me, but not everyone can wait for luck to save them from debt. And that's why I am excited to partner with National Debt Relief. They have a proven track record of helping people get out of debt quickly, saving them thousands. Their award-winning programs is simple and hassle-free. National Debt Relief can create personalized plans for your financial situation and help reduce your debt. They've helped hundreds of thousands of people, and they can help you too. Take your first step towards a better financial future. Call National Debt Relief today.
To find out what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-822-6611. 800-822-6611. Again, that's 800-822-6611.
The 28th Winter Warm-Up is coming to Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village January 18th through the 20th. The event features 3 days full of non-stop Cardinals family-friendly fun, including tours of the Cardinals clubhouse, admission to the world-class Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum, plus access to the Cardinals Care Store, autographs, auctions, and an exhibit hall full of sports memorabilia and more. Tickets are on sale now. Proceeds benefit Cardinals Care and its mission to care for kids in the community. Find more details at cardinals.com/WWU.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Do you want to kickstart planning for your retirement this year? I know a quick and easy way to do this. It's a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. It's kind of like getting the Cliff Notes on how you can make your money go a lot further in retirement. Hey, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You're going to learn about tax saving strategies, IRA and 401k withdrawals, Roth conversions, Social Security, and more. There's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are still openings for the classes this month and next, so call 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. That's my personal number, 314-350-8110 for Financial and Tax Architects.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
One of the biggest bragging points about this team is we have like 40 guys show up to our Bible study sometimes on every Thursday, and that's really a credit to them. It started with like 5 guys, but it's grown to like 40, and this team is just so close, and everything that we do as a unit.
So there you have it. The quarterback for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish playing in the national championship game this Monday, talking about the Thursday night Bible studies that they have. Now, you might be thinking, well, Annie, it's Notre Dame. Of course, they're having Bible studies.
I think that there's something in a movement right now at Notre Dame where this has become even more important. And we see on the other side of the football, coming into this Monday national championship game, that Ohio State has certainly bared witness to their Christian faith quite a bit. And to talk about that today, such an honor and a pleasure to have on the Annie Fry Show, Coach Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz, welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me, Annie, and I look forward to it.
Well, I want to give you the opportunity. Of course, you were a very successful coach at Notre Dame University, and faith has always been an important part of what the Irish do and stand for. I'm wondering if you feel, in your observation of college football, maybe even professional sports, if there is a culture shift taking place where Christianity and religion is being emphasized.
I certainly hope so. One of the great advantages about being at the University of Notre Dame was I could talk about my faith. I could talk about the Bible study. I could talk about in the mornings we go over the Proverbs with our football team. And you didn't have to worry about somebody calling the president complaining because of your strong feeling. But I think we all have that foxhole religion, Annie. I can't begin to tell you how many times I prayed when Michigan was on our two-yard line. Oh, God, you stop them, I'll change my look there, the way I do things. Same thing, you go by the grotto wheel where you can light a candle. Well, before we played Southern Cal, there wasn't any vacancies whatsoever, nor was there before a final exam at Notre Dame. So this is just a normal thing. We have a faith, the more difficulties. They told me before, there are no atheists in a foxhole. And when we have a need for somebody far greater than us, we always turn to God. Unfortunately, we don't do it on a consistent basis, daily basis.
Yeah, we're speaking with Coach Lou Holtz right now, and as we've watched this college football playoff each week go by, we're seeing people from all different universities. The winners, we're also seeing the people who are losers, who are making a priority. It's never a part of the question, how did your faith get you here? But we're seeing players take that opportunity to make it a priority to give God glory, to talk about their faith. Why do you think these young men in this position right now are being motivated to prioritize these types of sentiments?
Hopefully it's because their head coach has really promoted this and pushed it. And the one thing is the fact that when things aren't going well, we always going to turn to somebody far greater than us. When we feel the problem is bigger than us, we feel we need to turn to God. But, I was a Catholic, went to Catholic grade school, taught by the nuns, sisters of Notre Dame. And the one thing I learned is that you have to have a faith in God. I don't know how people get through life without a faith in God. And that's what I tell our players. I tell the people this day. I'm an old man. I'm 88. My birthday candles cost more than a cake. However, we all have problems and difficulties. That's the one thing about life. I don't care how old you get. You don't run away from your problem. You run away from challenges and being able to handle them. And what we find is God doesn't reduce the problems, but he enables you to handle them in a mature way.
I would think I played sports coach through my senior year of high school. But going into a collegiate at the level with which these young men are playing, now, of course, in the national championships with Ohio State and with Notre Dame, the amount of pressure on these young men has got to be just absolutely enormous. But I would assume that the process of going through a football program with the amount of discipline that is involved, this is a way where young boys can become young men, strong men. If you don't add faith into that, do they lose out on an opportunity that can go with them once they leave that college program? Does faith add to that disciplinary growth that they can experience?
I don't think there's any doubt about that, Andy. And, we all have faith, but it's a question of how strong our faith. Now, the football coach can go a long ways to determining the faith that's on your football team. But also, if the leader of your football team has a strong Christian belief, then the players are going to follow them. It's like anything else. If you have good leadership at the top, and people say, my goal was to live my life, and people say, I don't know what's different about him, but there's something about him that enables him to handle all the problems and difficulties. That's when you get a chance to express about your faith in God. And as an older boy, my parents were both Catholic. Both sides of the family were very, very religious. Went to church every single Sunday. My grandmother went to church every single day. And when you're raised in that environment, how about having a faith? We prayed before every meal. We prayed at night. And you have to understand that there's somebody far greater than us. All you have to do is look around the world. And you're going to tell me this happened by accident? No, there's a reason. I mean, that we have 4 seasons during the course of the year, and how that we revolve around the sun and the moon revolves. It goes on. It's too complicated for me to understand. So I figured it had to be handled by somebody far smarter than me and far better than me.
We're speaking with Coach Lou Holtz. He is also the chair of the Center for 1776 at America First Policy Institute and host of the Lou Holtz Show, which I encourage you to check out. Coach, as young men are in a position to prepare for something like a national championship, like the Notre Dame Irish are going to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes here on Monday. These are both incredible football teams. My husband has been, back in the days where we all didn't have cable, fell in love with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish as a young boy in Southern Illinois. And so I married into an Irish loving family and have been to the grotto that you were talking about. And the history and everything around it is so magnificent. What do you, when you're coaching in this moment, what do you do to make the world and all the noise stop and bring these men into a position to be able to compete ultimately at this final football game?
Well, just try to talk about realistic. We're here not because we won the lottery, not because somebody picked us. We're here because we played very well. We followed a plan. We executed. We practiced. We prepared. We made good choices. And it'll be the same thing against one of these two teams out of here with the championship. And let me say this. You go by the visiting hotel of the losing team, boy, it's like a morgue. I mean, even though you finished second in the country, tremendous year. But that particular moment where you lose, it's like death. And I hate to say that because I lost my wife of 59 years 4 years ago, but there's a big difference. But you are going to understand what a great accomplishment you had by finishing second. Nobody worries about that. They just want to be number one. We were number one. We finished second on 3 different occasions at Notre Dame. We finished second at the University of Arkansas. And you come close, but you don't get any cigar. Nobody praises you. You say, oh, that's great. You were runner-up. No, it's just like so many places will have who won the golf tournament, but they never talk about who finished second. So let's just go there. We're going there to win. We're a good football team. And let me tell you how we're going to win. Notre Dame can win this football game. I don't think there's any doubt. Ohio State's the best team in the country. They have the highest NIL payroll in the entire country. They're very, very talented. They're very well coached. Their defensive coordinator is outstanding. So is their offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. And, of course, Coach has really done a nice job for Ohio State. However, they may be the best team, best talent, but they aren't going to be the best team on Monday night. And here's what Ohio State has to do. They've got to be able to run the football. The old cheer, 1st and 10, do it again, it really applies to this football game. Let's run the ball. Let's get first down. And their great quarterback, their great receivers going to be on the bench, and they aren't going to be able to catch the ball. They aren't going to be able to put 8 points on the board. So let's be patient just in trying to get a first down. And if we can't get a first down, there's nothing wrong with kicking the ball away. And I think if you can stay close into the fourth quarter, Ohio State's usually used to winning by a big score. All of a sudden, you get in the fourth quarter and you're tied or you're down by 3, they will panic. And I think that's why Notre Dame will win this football game. The culture of the Notre Dame football team is really special. And all football teams go through 4 stages, Andy. Stage number 1, they learn how to compete. You learn how to compete because you execute the fundamentals. You block and you tackle very well. Then you get to phase 2, you learn how to win. You learn how to win because you do little things the right way. Everybody does the big things. It's a great team that do the little things. Then you get to phase 3. You learn how to handle winning. And this is a problem. Because once you start winning, everybody forgets what it was like when they're losing. Everybody wants to stand around, pat their chest, and say, well, I did this. And it doesn't have a doggone thing to do with the future. Then when you get through those three stages, you go to stage 4, which is what I call the championship stage. And that's where the culture of your football team is determined by the players. They don't wait for the coach to get on somebody for not doing things the right way. This is the way we do things at Notre Dame. This is why we're going to be a very, very special team. And I think Notre Dame has that culture right now, and that will enable them to win a close game. And let me say this also. You get in a game like this, you want to win the game. But the first thing you tell the football team, let's not lose it. There are too many people that worry about winning. They end up losing. Look what Penn State. Penn State's lost so many big games, but they lose to Notre Dame because they tried to win it. They threw an interception with a minute to go inside their 40-yard line. That's right. Let's not lose it. Let's not beat ourselves. Let's kick the ball away, play good defense, and just play the game the way it should be played and not expect a miracle.
Well, it's incredibly sage advice. I'm going to go back and listen to this interview and write down those 4 phases. Notre Dame certainly is in that championship phase, but you've been talking about culture. There's been a lot of buzz about Marcus Freeman as the head coach, pretty freshly, newer to the program, hasn't been there forever. What do you know about Marcus Freeman? What can you tell us about, we see him calling plays and coaching on the sideline. What do we not know about Marcus Freeman as a leader of this team?
Well, he's an outstanding individual. I know quite well. He's young. Well, guess what happened the third year for Eric Persich and Dan Devine and Lou Holtz? We won a national championship. Guess what? This is the third year for Marcus Freeman. So I think there's just some things that are meant to be, and that tradition will hold up. But I'll tell you the most important thing about Marcus Freeman, I've seen a lot of coaches come and go since I've left Notre Dame. But the one thing about him, he loves Notre Dame. He loves the Lady on the Dome. He loves being there. He loves the stand. He loves everything about the school, and he expresses it. I've seen coaches they have some success at Notre Dame, but it was all about them. That's what they talked about. They pat themselves on the chest. Marcus Freeman loves the players, loves Notre Dame, and loves the environment. And he's a perfect man for Notre Dame. That's why he's going to win the national championship and why it's long overdue.
Well, you heard it here. That's a great prediction, and it sure seems like Notre Dame loves Marcus Freeman. And I know another thing for sure, Coach. Notre Dame loves Lou Holtz, and we're very grateful for your time here. Thank you. We are looking forward to watching your predictions as a Notre Dame family, myself, come through on Monday night and celebrate along with the rest of the Irish. For the Ohio State Buckeye fans listening, hopefully it'll be a good game. It sounds like you think it's going to be a good, close game.
I do. When they came up the playoff, I started predicting the wins, and I predicted weeks ago it would be Ohio State versus Notre Dame. And I love Ohio State. I went to school in Ohio. I was raised in Ohio. I coached at Ohio State under Woody Hayes. We won the national championship. I love that place. But it's not Notre Dame. As I'd say to our players, remember, we're Notre Dame and they ain't. And I'm glad to hear you say about the people loving me. I love Notre Dame, and it was a pleasure and a privilege and a blessing to be able to coach there. And Marcus Freeman feels the same way. He deserves a national championship. I hope his time has come. I think it will, but we'll have to see.
Thank you for your witness with us today, Coach Holtz. It's good to have you here, and it's going to be quite a week for college sports, for America on the whole. We appreciate you being a part of it with us here today.
But it's also going to be a great week for God, because more and more people turn to God when things don't look real good.
Well, we appreciate you. Coach Lou Holtz, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. What a pleasure it is to have Coach Lou Holtz on the Annie Fry Show here. Ethan sitting in the studio with us. You can throw your microphone on right now. Ethan goes, can I sit in the studio for this? I mean, as he says there, 88 years old, and as smart as he ever has been, and so well-spoken. I've always appreciated his willingness to speak on his faith. You watch a ton of sports.
Mm-hmm.
You feeling like the people you're Christian, you're an outspoken Christian as well, Ethan. Do you feel like you're seeing more of this in sports than the usual? People willing to prioritize these types of comments?
Yeah, I think I am. And I think that the difference that I'm seeing isn't necessarily like, we've always heard the glory be to God, and I think even a couple of weeks ago when we talked about this on Wiggins America, it's more so as a believer, for me it becomes, what exactly are you saying? Because it's easy to say it after a victory, when things are going well, and thank the Lord, I couldn't have done this without him. But we have seen more than just that. We have seen people declaring Jesus as their Lord and Savior, gospel dropping. We've seen it after losses.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a level deeper than just saying like, oh, thank you God for the win. And I think I've taken notice of that, and I know that I'm not the only one that has. We've seen this go far beyond just the cameras. We've seen even on, we heard Riley Leonard talk about just the culture shift that the Notre Dame football team has experienced. There was earlier in the school year at Ohio State, there were baptisms going on in the middle of campus. There were just football players, there were students just getting baptized right in the middle of that, very famous campus. And so this is more than just, in my opinion, your typical on camera, oh, we won the big game, thank you God for that, couldn't have done it without you. This is diving a step deeper.
Yeah. It's interesting to watch and take it in and see how it snowballs a little bit. It's a good week for God. That's what Lou Holtz says. You heard it from him. Let's take a quick break. We'll get Ryan Wiggins back in studio and feature some of your thoughts on this poll. Is there a religious culture shift taking place in America? Erica says on YouTube, ultimately, I answered no, but I come from a unique perspective as I'm not Christian. I maintain that I think it's beneficial to have healthy Christian culture. That's a very interesting position on the issue. Ender says, yes, however, I believe it's more of a counterculture shift than it is a true finding of religion. How do you feel about it? The Annie Fry YouTube channel, you can come vote. You can leave a comment as well. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
CiviaLaw.com, your trust, your wills, your power of attorney, and estate plan. You need Todd Sivia to help you sort through the complications that might exist. And if you didn't hear him in studio with us at 1225, you can save yourself a boatload of money by making sure that you put your money, your assets, that you plan for it. And he can help you navigate the complicated tax system in the state of Illinois, the state of Missouri. He works on both sides of this river. He can help make sure that you are in a position to succeed and to not lose money where you certainly don't have to. When you call 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, you're going to get connected to Sivia Law. They have locations on both sides of the river, as I said, in Edwardsville, Wentzville, East Alton, Swansea, and Mount Vernon, and you can book your strategy session today. Once you book that strategy session and you sit down and have that initial conversation, they will get you completed documents in 2 weeks. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. Reach out to them. Ask them how they can help you get started today. CiviaLaw.com.
Wow, this year has flown by, and now you're planning to sell your home. Like you, most families have been waiting on the sidelines. Well, now the timing is better, but you still have questions, right? Hey, Mark Cox here from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Lou, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been telling you about Gloria Lou for years now. Why? Because Gloria Lou is St. Louis real estate expert, and if you have a home to sell, you need to get to know her like I have. I've seen her systems, her guarantees. I've even met her clients. In fact, I'm also a client. She's different than any other realtor, and if you need help selling your home for the most money, you need to do what I did. Call Gloria Lou. Here's another tip. If you have a home to sell in Crestwood, Shaw, Maplewood, the Central West End, you must give Gloria Lou a call. Take it from me and call my friend Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Is there a religious culture shift taking place in America? Yes or no? Interested to see what you think about this topic. You still have a little over an hour to vote, but why don't you go do it now? You can find it at youtube.com. Type in Annie Fry, and it will come up along with the live stream. 150. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk encourages you to support Red Cross Disaster Relief. Visit redcross.org or text the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. Your gift enables the Red Cross to help people recover from disasters big and small. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
He was a hard-headed man. He was brutally handsome. She was charmingly pretty. She held him up and he held her for ransom in the heart.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's kind of hard to do a segment after you talk to Lou Holtz. It's like there's nothing I could do that was better than that.
No, that's not true. We're all in here now. Let's have a really good time and do a great segment.
That's the spirit.
Yep.
Go on.
Yep. Let's talk about...
My favorite quote from Lou Holtz is, we're Notre Dame and they ain't.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Were you able to listen to that?
I listened to the whole thing.
What do you think of what he had to say?
Well, obviously, I'm assuming that on his podcast he talks football and he talks faith. Is that about right?
Yeah, I mean he's yeah.
Because that's pretty much what he talked about, and it was 100% natural. You know, you didn't have to ask him, well, what about your faith?
I think he spoke maybe 85% of that interview was him talking. I didn't have to.
Yeah, he just goes right into it. And then I also, we got a national championship game coming up. I'd love to hear a little bit more about. I'm not even that big of a football fan, but I wanted to hear about it, and he took it there. So it was like great.
I also enjoyed the comments on Marcus Freeman too. I like that you brought that up, Annie, because he has been a huge part and leader of that culture shift, and he's done some things there to kind of bring that back, as we've mentioned. But also, I mean, you just look at what he has done. I mean, Ryan Kelly, the coach before him at Notre Dame, was, very successful coach, but was never able to get them. They never won that big game.
And they would dramatically lose it.
Yeah,
I said dramatically again.
Yeah, they got beat down. They got beat down a few times in the playoff, and were never really able to have that big moment in the spotlight. And that kind of became Notre Dame's identity for several years. And now Marcus Freeman, who a lot of people questioned that hire when it first happened. They were not a huge fan of it, and then he lost a couple of unimpressive games against poor teams in his first couple of years, and even did that earlier this year against Northern Illinois. And then it was like, oh man, he's really on the chopping block. But how he has responded in year 3 this year at the age of 39 to get to a national championship game.
He just turned 39 too.
Yeah, I mean, to be where he is, and you could say what you want about Georgia being without their starting quarterback. That is still a team that has, double-digit guys, probably 20, 25 guys that'll play in the NFL someday. That's an impressive win. So the fact that he's been able to get them to this point in year 3, if I'm a Notre Dame fan, I am ecstatic about the future of the program.
Do you, Ryan, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you pay attention to college football? I mean, you were surprised. You found out during the show after their playoff game that they actually beat
He's a
Penn
college
State.
sports broadcaster, so I mean, I'd assume you'd pay attention a little bit.
Only to the games that I'm broadcasting.
Ethan, it's a beauty college.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I dropped out.
Oh.
Yeah, they wrote a song about it and put in Greece.
Really?
I pay attention to it at a 1. So it's not a 0.
Is it even fair to ask you who you think is going to win the game?
No, that's not fair.
Who's going to win the game?
Notre Dame.
Okay, thank you. Brad, do you pay any attention to it?
I pay more attention to college football than I do the NFL. I actually have given up on the NFL, and I'm super excited about that. I've been searching for a college football team, kind of adopted Notre Dame whenever you told me Jared was a big fan, so I jumped on the Notre Dame bandwagon there, and I liked to watch them whenever I was younger, and they were but, this year I got really heavily invested in it. I liked them. I liked Boise State, and to pay attention to this, I think, I know a lot of people have been complaining about the playoff and they say it's not good. I have enjoyed every game that I've watched so far.
Ethan, you pay a lot of attention to it. Who's your team?
My team is Alabama. So we can get into that whole argument as
We
to
cannot. Nobody
how
cares
that
about
happened.
Alabama here.
Yeah, but I'm going to save that, and you guys can call me a bandwagon. That's fine.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, here's the deal. Ohio State should win this game by 20. They are that much better than Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
But if Notre Dame can stick to their style of game and
Run the
can
ball.
keep this low scoring, can get Ohio State uncomfortable, then there's a chance. The bracket was all kinds of whacked up. A lot of people said that at the very beginning, and
A lot of that has to do with the fact that Notre Dame's not in a conference, though, right? They can't. A top 4 spots. Don't they go to the conference champions?
Yes, but some of the teams, that is arguing on the premise that the conferences are equal, and they're not. So it kind of made everything all kinds of, like I said, whacked up. So there's Notre Dame's side of the bracket much easier than the top half or the top side of the bracket, I would say. Doesn't mean that Notre Dame didn't earn their spot here, but there were a couple of different games, specifically the Rose Bowl between Oregon and Ohio State in the quarterfinals, where a lot of people are saying whoever wins that game is going to win the national championship. So, it's gonna come down to if Notre Dame can play their type of game and keep Ohio State uncomfortable offensively.
I think what people really want to see is a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame across the board pretty hateable. Just generally speaking, people don't. You either love Notre Dame or you have a negative feeling towards Notre Dame. But I can't think of many other programs who have that to a greater extent than Ohio State.
I would completely agree with
Is
that.
Ohio State the least likable program in college football?
That's a good question. I would say a lot of people hate Alabama because of just the
But
sheer level
Alabama-
of dominance they've had.
Well, Alabama has the championships to back up who they are. Ohio State kind of has a little extra strut in their strut.
I think
less
you could put those 3 schools, and
up
you
there.
could throw Michigan in there
Yeah.
too, into a top tier of hated schools.
Go
You didn't
on.
ask me who my team was.
I don't know if you could name one. I didn't want to embarrass you.
You can ask me if you want.
Go on.
Pepperdine.
We'll be right back.
GregHammonds.com wants to remind you that if you pay for your own health insurance, open enrollment ends January 15th. If you are looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers and they will not stop. Instead, call Greg, an expert with over 40 years experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans, if you qualify, let you pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there will be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GregHammonds.com. That's GregHammonds.com. They will custom design a plan managed by you, not the government.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Underdog Sports, and if you're a Missouri resident like me, I've got great news. Underdog is now available to play in our state. It's the best place to cash in on all of your takes during the playoffs, which players are going off, which ones are ice cold. They have over 5 million happy players and $2 billion won, and they have a champs game. And with that game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money by simply choosing higher or lower on stats. So yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and more. Will Jordan Love throw more than 2.5 interceptions? Will Justin Jefferson have more than 3 TDs? You can cook up some really interesting entries. You can mix and match with hockey or the NBA. The Champs platform is the only platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. And Underdog is the best place to play Champs. Download the app, sign up with promo code MarkR, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code MarkR. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Download the Underdog app today.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A breakthrough in the Middle East. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
At long last, I can announce a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached between Israel and Hamas.
President Biden says the deal mirrors the framework he proposed last May to be implemented in phases.
Phase 1 will last 6 weeks. It includes a full and complete ceasefire, withdrawal of Israeli forces from all the populated areas of Gaza, and the release of a number of hostages held by Hamas, including women and elderly and the wounded.
He says American hostages will be part of that release. In exchange, Israel will free hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. Under the plan, President Biden says a ceasefire will continue as long as Israel and Hamas continue negotiating to get to phase 2, a long-term truce, and the release of remaining hostages. In Israel, the prime minister's cabinet still needs to approve a deal, and his office says details are still being finalized. President-elect Trump had warned of possible consequences if hostages were not released before he takes office. New York Republican Congressman Mike Lawler telling Fox News.
I don't think we can overstate the importance of President Trump coming in and forcing a reset here.
An incoming Trump envoy has been in the Middle East during the final push for this deal. President Biden says the two administrations have been speaking as one team. Confirmation hearings today for 6 Trump nominees, including Senator Marco Rubio to be Secretary of State. On Ukraine, he says the U.S. policy should be focused on a desire for peace.
What Vladimir Putin has done is unacceptable. There's no doubt about it. But this war has to end.
Rubio says bold diplomacy will be needed. Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi telling senators if she's asked to review possible Trump pardons for January 6th rioters.
I will look at each case and advise on a case-by-case basis.
America is listening to Fox News.
You said bye-bye to big government. Now it's time to trim the fat from big wireless. Pure Talk gives you the exact same service. They use the same cell towers, the same 5G network. You get better customer service, and you pay half the price for the exact same thing. Get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot for just $35 a month. Make the switch. You simply dial pound 250, say the keyword, save now, save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
All is quiet. 29 should do it for the high this afternoon with sunny skies. Tonight, partly cloudy. We only drop to 27, 28 degrees. Winds turn to the south. Temperatures actually rise on us after midnight. Thursday, sunny and 41 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, though clouds will be on the increase Friday afternoon, 48. And then here comes periods of rain, mainly rain Friday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
We're thinking green and fairway on the Mark Reardon Show all this week. The St. Louis Golf Expo is at the St. Charles Convention Center January 31st. Just listen to us on the Mark Reardon Show all this week. And when we tell you when to call, you can have a pair of tickets all set up for you.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us, that's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. There's been a lot of news happening, a lot of developments taking place throughout the course of today. And one of those things that we haven't really gotten around to at all is the confirmation hearings for Pam Bondi. She has been nominated by Donald Trump, who will be president in 5 short days. And she has been nominated to become the Attorney General. Well, just here recently, within the last 30 minutes, we had Josh Hawley, who is a part of the committee that is questioning her today. We've seen the likes of multiple different senators. They go back and forth as they do in these hearings, and watching as Pam Bondi has to take the love fest from the Republican, and then I'm not going to even say hate fest from the Democrat. The consistent thing that I saw the most from the Democrats was about how she felt about Kash Patel. Kash Patel, if you had Kash Patel 7 times on your bingo card, you probably got a bingo.
Really? I didn't know she mentioned him that much.
She didn't mention him. They mention him.
Oh, they're mentioning
him.
him.
The FBI director will be under the Attorney General, and they're very concerned about Kash Patel. I think that it's really established for me the importance of the must-watch Kash Patel hearings. It's going to be fireworks. And if Kash Patel is able to go into that confirmation hearing process knowing that barring anything absolutely outrageous, he's got 51 votes from Republicans in the Senate. He just needs to just don't screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
Pam Bondi, tell me about Kash Patel. Kash Patel apparently talked one time about an enemies list, and they're really concerned about what Pam Bondi's going to do with an enemies list. Over and over and over again, that's what they continued to say. Let's see here. Do I have this? I'm looking here. Do I have this video, number 3?
You should.
Okay, I'm looking for it right now. Because watching them go through back and forth, and here, I got it right now. Press upon her these assumptions that the Democrats have, their fear, more so for Pam Bondi as Attorney General, their fear is that she's going to use her position in office as a weapon against their political enemies.
Nobody should do that. I wholeheartedly disagree with even the concept of doing that.
Of political retribution through the Justice Department?
Yeah, I don't think the Justice Department should do that to a political enemy.
Well, ironically, neither do the Democrats.
And
Senator Whitehouse.
It would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Senator, I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we have seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump. They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016. They targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General. I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation. Justice will be administered even-handedly throughout this country. Senator, we've got to bring this country back together.
You listen to the way he's, I think the whole time he's asking that question, he's like looking down at his papers. He can't even look her in the eyes.
He's looking down at his papers going, I'm like halfway through this question. I can't bail on it now.
He drew the short straw. Just one more time.
And it would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime.
That'd be outrageous.
It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Correct.
That's Blumenthal?
Ding, ding, ding. It took 4 years, but you finally got it. A round of applause.
He should do it again and go, it would be really inappropriate if you started with a name like Blumenthal. And then you started looking for crimes. That'd be
Richard
bad.
Blumenthal goes, hey. It's just a little too on the nose for me.
It is.
I'm like watching this going, everybody knows. This isn't subtle at all. Let's listen to Josh Hawley. Brad's got Josh Hawley queued up. I haven't been able to hear about his questioning yet, so let's listen in and see what the Missouri senator
I'm sitting here in the chairman's seat, General Bondi. It's a great feeling of power.
Do you have documents you want me to review?
Maybe some things I'd like you to sign. Let me just ask you here, and I think I may be your last interlocutor for the day, so congratulations. You've just done fantastic. Thank you for answering all of our questions. Let me just ask you about another of the abuses that this past administration perpetrated and that is still in place. And I'm referring to the October 2021 memo from Attorney General Garland targeting parents at school board meetings. Do you remember this?
Yes, Senator.
What happened was, as I'm sure you recall, we now know the Biden administration, the White House, the Secretary of Education solicited a letter from the National School Board Association. They ginned it up. It was fake from beginning to end. They ginned it up, calling for law enforcement scrutiny against parents, tax-paying parents who are going to school board meetings, inquiring what their children were being taught, inquiring about face masks, critical race theory, and Attorney General Garland, you talk about bowing to political pressure. When the White House demanded he activate the FBI against these parents, amazingly, unbelievably, he did it. And he issued this memorandum in October of 2021. All of this time later, That memorandum has still never been formally rescinded. Even after the National School Board Association withdrew their letter, admitted they had been wrong to call parents potential domestic terrorists who were merely raising questions about what their children were being taught. Garland never apologized for it. He never did anything about it. It is still in effect. Here's my question for you. As Attorney General, if and when you are confirmed, will you finally rescind that memorandum and do right on behalf of all of these parents who have been wrongly, unjustly targeted by the FBI and DOJ?
Senator, I have not yet read the memo. If I am confirmed, I will read the memo and I will do the right thing, just like I told senators on both sides of the aisle regarding their issues.
Good. I look forward to you doing that, and I would hope this is something you could do on the first day after you're confirmed, to send a message to parents and law-abiding citizens everywhere. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. I bet the parents who went to these meetings, they're Republicans or Democrats, they have no partisanship, but they want to know that their First Amendment rights will be protected. And you rescinding that memo formally after, frankly, the current Attorney General lied to us about it for years would send a tremendous message. Let me just ask you about the one other thing, and this is something near and dear to me. We talked about this when you came to my office. The Department of Justice administers a fund called the Radiation Exposure Compensation Fund. This is a fund that helps pay for the health care bills of Americans who have been exposed to nuclear radiation by the government through no fault of their own. In the West and other parts of the country, the Department of Justice has administered that program for years. Senator Orrin Hatch actually wrote the initial bill. It has been in existence since 1990. It's been supported by senators from both parties. It's extremely important to my state because the state of Missouri, we have a lot of nuclear radiation that has occurred, that's still in our groundwater, still in our soil, not cleaned up yet. My question for you is, since you'll be in charge of administering it, will you administer that program fairly and equitably? Will you defend it? Will you make sure that radiation victims who are under the statute entitled to compensation from their government get what they deserve?
Senator, I was speaking about that with someone yesterday because I did not know. Again, there's going to be a lot, if I am confirmed, that I don't know. That's why it's so important to keep an open dialogue with every senator from every state. And yes, I am committed to looking at that. And I did not realize you had that horrific problem in your state.
Thank you very much. Thank you for answering our questions. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back my time.
So Senator Josh Hawley there bringing it home, as you would like to see a senator do, referring to that that fund. I know he's been on that. He's been very, very deliberate about making sure that that stays top of mind.
I was going to say that's not the first time he's mentioned that. He's been talking about that for years. He used that as a platform to bring it up again, though.
Yeah. Which you like to see, because you have to remember that these individuals are all there to represent the people and getting them help. And I feel like the Josh Hawley way of saying, here's a problem that exists in my state, and it's my job to hold government accountable to make sure that the people of my state get what they need, as opposed to the Tammy Duckworth way of bringing up, the people of Illinois sent me here, they voted for me, and I'm here to represent them, and then went on her outrage thing about how well Hegseth was at auditing. Okay. As I said yesterday, Tammy, I did not vote for you, but I did vote for Donald Trump, and Donald Trump nominated Pete Hegseth. So confirm him.
It is fair. I'm glad we brought this back up with the Duckworth thing. It is fair for her to say, my constituents sent me here, because she was elected by Illinois. It would be more accurate for her to say, Cook County sent me here to do XYZ, because the rest of the state didn't.
Dick Durbin is up in 26?
Yes.
Do you know that his name is being considered for governor?
No.
It'd be an improvement.
It would be.
Man. Illinois. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm not excited about it.
Well, the question will be what J.B. Pritzker is going to do. Newsflash, folks, we don't have term limits.
So is J.B. Pritzker thinking about running for Senate?
Yes, or president.
Or president.
I want him to run for president.
I do too.
I just want to watch that dumpster fire burn. And I say that, and that's like what they said about Donald Trump. But I think this is different.
I do too. When Democrats, it seems to me, from California, Illinois, although we don't see those as much, New York, but really California, when they run and their media, their local media, state media has been the primary way that they've communicated with people, they get to that national stage and they almost immediately collapse because they cannot handle the pressure from any media outside of friendly media. Now, most national media is friendly, but those who aren't, they hit them in the knee every single time. I can't imagine that wouldn't happen to Pritzker.
Well, I would say Pritzker faces those same things, but I would like to remind you of who the last major Illinois candidate to run for national office was, and that was Barack Obama, and he didn't seem to have any issue with the media whatsoever.
That's true.
Would you vote for Adam Kinzinger for governor of Illinois over Dick Durbin?
I'd vote for...
Yeah. I hate that so much.
I don't even know.
I would.
Anymore? I don't know. I don't even know what he stands for.
I'd be angry the whole time.
He has an R by his name just for TV. I'd vote for Liz Cheney.
That might be a YouTube poll. Who would you vote for governor of your state if these were your two options? Adam Kinzinger or Dick Durbin or J.B. Pritzker?
Or yeah, those three.
This is not a hard question. This isn't a hard question.
I want to see Adam Kinzinger do anything conservative, though.
He's done a lot conservative. His
I want to
voting
see
record,
it. I want to see it.
He's just an absolute Looney Tune. Gosh, now he's not going to come on the show. He's been on the show.
Has he?
Oh, yeah.
Had to be quite a while ago.
It was.
Okay.
And it will be.
Yeah, now it will.
Is it outrageous to think that, I mean, does he still even live in Illinois?
I have no idea.
What else does he have?
Doesn't he do appearances on
CNN
or MSNBC?
What if he runs for Senate?
Fine.
Would you be happy with Senator Adam Kinzinger from the state of Illinois?
As long as he's running as a Republican. If he's running as a Democrat, then he's going to just do the same thing as anybody else.
Senator Adam Kinzinger from the state of Illinois would be a thorn in Donald Trump's side. He would be of the same ilk as...
Not really.
Well, he'd be of the same ilk as Mitt Romney, but it won't matter.
No, because he'd be a sometimes Republican vote, but it would be in place of Tammy Duckworth or Dick Durbin.
Heck yeah, that's why I would vote for him, as if he was Republican.
It's an upgrade.
Yeah.
It would be an upgrade, but he would be like a Mitt Romney upgrade, which I'll take over Dick Durbin or Tammy Duckworth.
We have to consider the current circumstances.
Yes. Although, if
what
that
looks
seats
better
up,
can still look like crap and be better. Sad face.
Man.
Meanwhile,
Governor Dick
Missouri
Durbin?
is just oozing Republicans out of every fault line.
Oh, man. Thank God
And they
for
still have
Billy
problems,
Long.
too. Billy Long, IRS, man.
Man, I love it. Missouri, we've done some things right.
We've made all of our Illinois listeners very uncomfortable at the thought of maybe that would work.
Here's the problem. Out-migration. People keep moving out of Illinois. And you know who's moving out of Illinois? It ain't Democrats, although it's everybody.
Democrats are moving out.
It's
but
everybody.
they're taking their tax dollars with them.
Yeah.
And
but
so the tax burden continues to go up and the tax base continues to go down.
But Republicans are definitely not saying, you know what I want to do? Stay here.
Russell said, Annie, please don't throw those choices out at us. Makes my belly hurt. I wonder how. Oh, gosh, I can't. I'm above it. Let's go to break.
I can't wait to hear what this is.
I'm not above it. I'm just out of time. We'll be right back.
If I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The Retirement Advisory Group is having another Protecting Your Retirement educational event, and you are invited to attend. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, just a little bit of your time. And when I say a little bit of your time, I really mean small commitment. The event starts at 6:30 on Thursday, January 30th, and I get there at 6 before the event begins. From 6 to 6:30, I'll be there. Mark Cox, Mark Reardon will be there as well. We'd love the opportunity to meet you, so please come early if you sign up and reserve your spot. They do ask you to reserve your spot because there is limited capacity at the Frontenac Hilton. So here's what you do. You call 314-993-9494. You can be nearing retirement. You know, it's right around the corner. 2025 is here. That's 1 year closer to what you expected and hoped for. You got a new president coming in next Monday. Things are going to change. How do you make sure that you know what to count on in your retirement? Well, it starts with coming to this free get-together on Thursday, January 30th at the Frontenac Hilton. Reach out to them. Reserve your spot. It's free. There are snacks. 314-993-9494 or go to online at retirementkey.com.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, Audacy. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-230-9333. 314-230-9333. That's 314-230-9333.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Did you get a call or message that mentioned Social Security that made you feel threatened or scared? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, press you for personal information, or demand instant payment. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Don't fall for it. Hang up, ignore them. Report this criminal activity to oig.ssa.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Level up the comfort of your home this winter with either free attic insulation or an air scrubber. With a new HVAC system installation from Air Comfort Service. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever. This is The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
I
to the Eddie Fry Show. You know, stuff's going on in Capitol Hill. Everybody's paying attention to the confirmation hearings. Just a quick poll of the room. Brad, Ethan, Ryan, in that order. Pete Hegseth.
Yes.
Made it through unscathed.
Yeah, he did good.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's in.
I'm surprised he didn't dissent just for the sake of dissenting there.
Oh, you said Pete Hegseth. No.
I thought you said Heat Pegseth.
Yeah.
Hegseth. Yeah.
I thought you said Heat
It's
Pegseth.
a totally different situation. Pam Bondi today, from what you've taken in, I mean, even the Democrats were complimenting her. And as I said, a lot of any consternation that really came about in it was like, so Kash Patel. Oh, gosh, that's going to be so fiery. When does it happen?
They haven't set a date yet for it.
If it happens, we got to broadcast it. Don't wait.
The whole thing?
I don't know. Some of it.
I mean, that's going to be probably the most fun.
I want Kash Patel to study and mimic every single one of Peter Strzok's mannerisms.
You know what? The one that'll be pretty contentious will be RFK's too. Maybe Tulsi's.
No,
but
I
RFK's won't be as crazy as Kash Patel's.
I don't think
will be.
RFK's will. I think RFK has exemplified his ability to back up his claims and be comfortable and calm with it. I don't think Tulsi Gabbard's is going to be complicated at all either. I really don't. I think she is going to bring such grace to her presentation that they're not. You got to kind of meet fire with fire. Pete Hegseth had a little bit of that, a little America behind what he was bringing to the table, constantly talking about war fighting and everything. So that's a little easier to go against. And I think Tulsi Gabbard is just so well presented and calm that I think that they would, in my mind, I would politically calculate as a Democrat that this is not going to look good for me if I go strongly at her.
I agree. I just think that those two might be the most contentious.
You know who's the worst? Mazie friggin' Hirono.
She's terrible.
Oh my gosh, she every time she comes up, I'm like, gosh, I remember last time we saw her, she got under my skin, and then we're halfway through, I'm like, oh yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
it's not good.
She wouldn't be one that even if I were on the Democrat side, I'd be like, yes, can't wait till Mazie gets them.
Oh, she
Like,
was something
no,
else.
That's not gonna work.
With Pam Bondi today. So all of these confirmations, this is where everybody's eyes and ears are right now. But at the same time, over in the House of Representatives, are you familiar with Representative Crockett?
I am. Davy.
Yes.
Yeah. She wears a coonskin cap.
What state's she from again?
I don't actually know.
I think she's Maryland.
Davy Crockett.
Baltimore, if I had to.
I was thinking like Kentucky or something like that more so with that kind of name.
I don't know. I know that there was fireworks.
Yes.
That's all I know.
So listen to them go back and forth in this exchange. I don't even know. Do we have here? Do we know what they're arguing about? Like what the hearing was about? Is that even?
I have no idea. I didn't see what the hearing was about.
Somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do
not.
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have.
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will
am
in my
reclaiming my
life.
time.
You will not do that. I
Order.
am not a child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not in order.
Order.
Point of order. Point of
Order.
Yeah, order. Is there a winner and a loser here?
I didn't think so when I saw it.
Two losers?
Yeah, I didn't really think. I know a lot of people want to go to their sides and say, "Oh, Nancy Mace really won this," or vice versa. But I didn't really. I don't know. I didn't walk away feeling like anybody got any good jabs in.
I would actually say that I think that Crockett is the winner because that's what she was going for. She was trying to get under Nancy Mace's skin, and she did. So Jasmine Crockett accomplished her goal.
Yeah, but she's the one that sounds like a child. I mean,
she does.
But the thought that is someone that is in Congress and is like speaking to a politician like that, I don't know. I understand the argument you're making, but the way she speaks to make it happen doesn't really tell me much about her either.
Do you want to see Nancy Mace catfight back?
I don't think she can not say anything, I don't know. It almost, Brad's right. It's almost like she got a little baited and took the bait and went for it. But I don't know that she could have just done nothing either.
Well, I'll say this about Nancy Mace. I'm not sure that she didn't realize she was taking the bait because I think that's starting to become part of her brand.
I think she looks super trashy.
Really?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Mace?
Yes. I mean, Congresswoman Crockett behaves this way on a pretty regular basis. That's where she goes. It's predictable. But at this point, it's kind of predictable that Nancy Mace is going to do this. So I do feel like it's like Nancy Mace is getting baited, and whether she knows it and still decides to go all in, I don't want to join those ranks. Not in the House. I mean, did Abraham Lincoln say something about letting a fool speak so that they can make a fool of themselves?
Yeah, I know.
You don't need it. Yeah, and he said, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet." I mean, there's something about how, like, if there's a person making a fool of themselves, you don't need to stop them, and you also don't need to interject yourself to make the point that they're a fool. I'm a big fan of staying quiet while fools are making fools of themselves. We see this in our everyday lives. You see this at local sporting events. And when I say local, I'm like the ones that you had to be blood related to somebody to attend. People will make fools of themselves. And when you interject yourself into the situation to like be like, yeah, that's right, you're a fool. Now you're kind of like, you got a little, never wrestle with a pig, you both get dirty and the pig likes it. I don't understand why Nancy Mace does this.
Is this why you usually let Wiggins just go during Wiggins America?
Don't. The answer is yes, actually.
Trade secrets. Ryan?
Yeah. This was not.
Go on.
Got him.
When I saw this, I was like, oh, shoot. I don't think that this is. I didn't think it was like a big loss for Nancy Mace or anything. But I definitely didn't think she walked away. It's funny because when you go to Twitter, man, it really doesn't matter what happened. If you are looking at it through the lens of D or R, that is all that matters. Mm-hmm. So the Republicans are like, look at Nancy Mace. She really won this battle. I'm like, ah.
I feel very strongly that if Donald Trump is the president and the House is Republican and the Senate is Republican, Nancy Mace needs not do that.
Yeah, this becomes punching down because you're on the winning side. You don't really need to do that. You're going to get your agenda across the line anyway.
The only reason why this story made it into the national conversation is because of what Nancy Mace did. If Congresswoman Crockett, is it Jasmine Crockett?
Jasmine,
I think. If she were doing this, I mean, this is how she carries herself in normal. If she carries her, and it was a personal comment towards Nancy Mace. She's like, "You're going to keep saying trans, trans, trans." Nancy Mace's efforts, in making sure that bathrooms on Capitol Hill are male, female, and there are also some like individual bathrooms that are available for anybody to use, whatever. She's making her case. She's putting these things out there, and if the other side doesn't like it, of course they don't like it. If they're going to act a fool not liking it, let them act a fool not liking it and look foolish. I just don't. There's nothing about the Nancy Mace response that is attractive to me in this regard, and this is not the only time. I just feel like I don't like it when Matt Gaetz did it. It's kind of the same feel, the same vibe. If Nancy Mace's constituents like it, then okay.
Well, here's a question. Do both of them benefit from this becoming a thing? That they have this kind of animosity, they have the kind of good guy, bad guy relationship, and so anytime one of them speaks, they kind of go after the other one. It becomes a news story, and they both benefit from the publicity. Not the cause. Obviously, the cause gets lost, but they personally would benefit from being Nancy Mace and Jasmine Crockett. The duo on the two sides of the coin,
Mm-hmm. Are we going to see? Will the folks on the left elevate this type of behavior. I mean, if you're in the minority, sometimes you need to rattle the cage a little bit to get your message through, because it's not going to be based on what gets passed and what gets through, because if you're in the minority, you're going to have to make it bipartisan in order to get things through. Do you expect the left to get a little more? Because, I mean, you probably could see both, where some people on the left that are in purple districts are going to say, I'm going to cross the aisle on this a little bit. We've seen a lot of that from John Fetterman in the Senate. But if you got people who are never, ever going to compromise, maybe we end up seeing more of this. Doesn't it do a service to the people on the left with that far progressive message to turn it into a story that people are talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
To participate. You said it. It's punching down.
It is right now. Yeah, if you're in the majority, you don't need to do this.
Well, I thought it looked. I know some people love this version of Nancy Mace, but in the world where this isn't entertainment, it's actually the legislature. I wish we weren't doing that. Maybe
And that's
it's
what
an
it is.
unpopular opinion.
That's what it is. It's entertainment, and that's why I wonder if they're doing it to sort of elevate their brands.
Well, let us know what you think. The YouTube live chat poll today: is there a religious culture shift taking place in America? Yes or no? Ryan, what are your thoughts, particularly on this poll today?
I do think there's a shift happening, and I think the phrase religious culture shift is probably a yes for me, because I don't know that this is necessarily a spiritual shift that's happening yet. It could be a result of something or a precursor of something spiritually happening, which is, I think, what we're all hoping for. But but right now, this is more of a culture shift that maybe has religious underpinnings. So I'll say yes.
Chris said on YouTube, I voted no, wishing it was a yes. Ethan, you want to weigh in on this poll today?
I think similar to Ryan, it's leaning more towards a yes than it is a no. There's definitely been some very promising signs so far. I think that there is very fair reasoning and there's a very fair argument that things are moving in the right direction. Is it full on, like this is 100% happening and this is going to completely, as it says, shift the culture? Not necessarily, but I think it's trending in the right direction, so I'll say yes.
MAGA AF for Annie Fry says, that's how we use it here. Poll, no. People still use God as their personal genie in a bottle. Religion and service are very different in Western Christianity. Well, I would certainly say religion and service are very different than Christianity. What do you think, Brad?
I think that this is a cultural shift. I see what you're saying, Ryan, where there are people out there that are influencers, and it almost seems like they're peddling Christianity because it's kind of the counterculture. It's the way to kind of do that. But I think that they're actually latching on to something that is real, there's a spiritual underpinning to it. I went through a lot of these sound clips for the Lou Holtz interview, and in one of them, I'm listening to an Ohio State player talk about how he committed a bad penalty.
Let's listen to it here. It's cut number 17, and it's Ohio State's running back, Trayvon Henderson.
A 75-yard run. Walk us through that. How did that feel to find the end zone?
Yes. Man, it was a battle, man, especially after making this mistake on the field, with the penalty. Just spending some time with the Lord on the sideline, asking for his forgiveness and helping me to repent, to turn away, because that's not the person I want to be. And, his hand is always there, and, man, he picked me up in that moment. And my teammate, man, Gloria, man, he told me just focus on Jesus. And so I'm just thankful, man, for my brothers in Christ to be there to pick me up and help me to focus on the Lord. And just, man, yeah, God made a way.
But the job's not done, right? You've got one more. What's it going to take to focus on that now?
Man, to just keep seeking Jesus together, to keep trusting him and to keep growing with him. And, and just surrender, his will be done and not ours.
That guy gives that answer, and she's like, but about football. And he's like, yeah, this is about football.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Brad. You were making a
point. But my thought is I've seen, you don't talk about the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and then your repentance that you had on the sideline because you're like, oh, man, I did something wrong. I need to get right with Jesus on the sideline of a football game if there isn't something real going on there. Because in the past, there was nothing to gain for these guys to do that. There's nothing for them to gain from this, and they're actually the ones. And maybe some of these influencers, maybe your Russell Brands and some of these other influencers are out there, they're pushing out Christianity. And whenever you make people take a second look at it, it will grab a hold of them in an authentic way. I'm not saying Russell Brand's conversion isn't authentic. I'm just using him because he's the first influencer that came to mind that has recently converted to Christianity. But I think that there is something real in this, a real underpinning. And so on this poll, I'm a hard yes, absolutely. And I'm hopeful that there is a deep spiritual revival on the verge of taking place. But time will tell.
Dirk said, I chose yes, just appears folks are looking at things in more of a moralistic view, which is likely attributed to a change in religious views. And Chris, a different Chris, said, I said no, I feel people are moving away from it. Hope I'm wrong. Let us know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube channel right now. Go to youtube.com/@AnnieFry, F-R-E-Y. You'll see we're broadcasting live right there. And when you pull up the live broadcast in the live chat is where you'll find the poll. And you can leave a comment as well. You can also, did you know, stream us 24/7 here on 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app. AUDACY. You download it. You listen to us. And, of course, you're listening to Mark Reardon right after us. When you have that 97.1 FM Talk stream up on the Odyssey app, it's just like listening on your radio, crystal clear connection. You can interact with us there as well. Let's take a quick break, and Ethan will give us the results of this poll before we wrap up the show and hand it over to Mark Reardon. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Air Comfort Service knows that the air inside of your home right now, if you don't have their services already with their whole home humidifiers, it's dry, it's uncomfortable, can cause nosebleeds. We got some family members in our home who can suffer from those when the air is super dry. Dry, cracked, itchy skin. You get those static shocks as you move through your home and that wood furniture, the floors crack under your feet. It's just uncomfortable. Make the air inside your home comfortable again with Air Comfort Service. They have the ability to help you with a whole home humidifier. They can work and add moisture to the air in your home, which can eliminate all of those uncomfortable things. Whole home humidifiers are installed near your furnace, so moisture is distributed through your ductwork into every nook and cranny of your home. Not just a room or rooms like your portable humidifiers are working with water tanks that you constantly have to fill and, work on making sure they don't get moldy and all of that. Air Comfort Service can finally solve this problem for you for good. 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, or you can pull them up online at aircomfortservice.com.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915, 314-557-7915, 314-557-7915.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Is there a religious culture shift taking place in America, yes or no? That is today's YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. You can still get your vote in if you haven't yet by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. It is 2:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting set here on a Wednesday afternoon. We got about 4 or 5 more hours of winds in California. If they can get out of this afternoon, I think they're going to be okay. We'll have the very latest on that. We have lots of activity on Capitol Hill with confirmation hearings. Marco Rubio, Pam Bondi will get caught up on that. And Congresswoman Ann Wagner joins at 3:25.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
I see a red door and I want it painted black. No colors anymore, I want them to turn black. I see the girls go by dressed in their summer clothes. I have to turn my head until my darkness goes.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're going to get the results to today's YouTube live chat poll here in a couple of minutes, so keep it around to find out how y'all voted on this question. Is there a religious culture shift taking place in America? I think certainly there is. I think that when you're talking about culture, you're talking about trends. And I think that there is definitely an openness about talking about faith or a newfound faith that exists now that hasn't existed in the last 10 or 15 years. I mean, my kids watch this stuff, and like when someone says something about Jesus, they're like, Mom, they like want me to know. They see it, they highlight it, it impacts them, and they've seen a lot of it, which is pretty cool that it's getting picked up by them. Janine said, I voted yes. These people with influence are looked up to, and although the Holy Spirit is the only one to bring us to him, he will then use these witnesses to point others to him. Libby said, I vote not necessarily. I don't think there is a massive shift, but a significant number of people tired of the wokeness and deciding to be more public about their spirituality. Culturally speaking, I think that the indicator here is not necessarily how many people have religion, but how many people are willing to publicly witness that they have religion. Because I think there are a lot of people who have been religious this whole time, been Christians this whole time, and just have not found the right moment in time to say, let me tell you about this. I think that's kind of the difference right now. It's just a more public nature to it.
Yeah, I do too. And whenever you go through a period like we have in the last 4 years where, I think Pam Bondi brought it up, or Josh Hawley brought it up about, the DOJ was actually persecuting Christians. Like that's a real thing. It's not persecution like you see in other countries, but it was real nonetheless. We are now seeing a major shift, and it's obvious in the natural. You see it happening with the changing of the guard, where you have President Trump coming in. But I just wonder, and I've seen commenters saying the same thing, if people aren't in a place right now after having been, I don't want to say despondent, but just, that we might be in a place where people are seeking more, looking for something else.
Go vote in the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. We'll get those results here in a second. Get your thoughts in by voting yes or no. A quick story I want to hit. Fox News is reporting on this. This is like kind of a gossipy thing, I guess. But Fox News was saying, as she prepares to exit the White House, First Lady Jill Biden reflected on her relationships during an interview with the Washington Post and revealed that she was disappointed in former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who played a big role in the president dropping out of the 2024 race. Jill Biden said, it's been on my mind a lot lately, and we were friends for 50 years. It was disappointing. Pelosi joined the co-host of Morning Joe in July following the president's disastrous debate performance and said, quote, it's up to the president to decide if he's going to run, despite Biden's repeated assurance that he would remain in the race. The First Lady then said, let's just say I was disappointed how it unfolded. It's a little diplomatic. Fox News goes on to say Pelosi was seen as a major force behind the Democratic pressure campaign to get the president to drop out of the race, and has lamented after Vice President Kamala Harris's loss to President-elect Trump that Biden should have dropped out sooner. Amid the speculation that Biden would drop out following the June debate, despite him saying he wouldn't, the Associated Press reported that leaders within the Democratic Party, such as former President Obama, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and Pelosi, reportedly worked behind the scenes to encourage Biden to drop out due to concerns he would not defeat Trump. It's a Fox News article by Hannah Panrick. Do you think they encouraged him? Because I would probably, I'm assuming the word threatened would be more appropriate.
Yeah, encouraged. I was going to say, encouraged is probably the nicest way to put
Please,
it.
please drop out. Okay.
Sugar on top.
We really think it'd be great if you did. It'd be good for everybody. You know what's funny is yesterday I was reminded that after that debate performance, they did polling, and still 30-something% of America was like, yeah, he won. He won that debate. He did great.
I didn't even watch the debate, and I know that.
Right.
Fox News report says Jill Biden told the Washington Post brace yourself, gentlemen. She was confident her husband could have served another 4 years.
Ooh, yeah. Sure she is.
Isn't that gross?
Do you think she actually believes that? Like, do you think she's actually fooled herself into believing that?
I think that Jill Biden is the most aware of the reality of the situation of anybody that exists. I think she's heartless. I think she's a terrible person. Is that too much to say?
No.
How would you disagree?
What's going to be sad is the minute he's out of office, everything they've been doing to kind of keep him going and keep him up and being able to get through speeches and stuff, that stuff all goes away. Within 6 months, if you hear from him at all, it's going to be
He keeps saying,
tragic.
I'm going to be around. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. Jill
Biden also said, quote, today, I think he has a full schedule. He started early with interviews and briefings, and it just keeps going. That's very detailed and convincing.
They post that, right?
Yeah, it's not just you
This is a
seeing
lid by noon.
Right.
Plus, the Fox News article points this out, but Joe Biden was just asked recently if he could have finished another 4 years, and he was not sure, to say the least. He, to quote, "Who the hell knows? So far, so good. But who knows what I'm going to be when I'm 86 years old?"
Ethan brings up a good question. Was Jill Biden actually fooling herself into I think she might have been. She might have fooled herself into actually thinking this is fine.
Like you say something enough times and then you start to believe it.
You start to believe it, yeah. I wonder if she hasn't done that.
I think she just liked being first lady and maybe even pulling the strings behind the scenes. And so whenever she says something like, I think Joe Biden can do 4 more years, she's actually saying, yeah, I could have handled that. She's the worst.
Yeah.
She might be the worst. If you've ever been in a position to watch somebody you love deteriorate and you're close enough that you know the full extent of the deterioration, if you love that person, you protect them.
Top 2, but not number 2.
Ugh. It's just like to sit there and listen to Joe Biden be like, who knows? Could you do it? I don't know. Who knows? And Jill's like, he'd have been fine.
Maybe, though, this is the way he deteriorates the least is by being the president.
Well, maybe she just loves him so much she's willing to preserve him.
Yeah.
In the office of the United States of America presidency. That's it. Why are we not political consultants? All right, guys, we got it. Act of love.
We figured
Repeat
this out.
the phrase. Act of love. Repeat the line. Act of love.
It's all joy.
Joy. And joy. Lots of freaking joy. Get it right.
I'm filled with joy.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't this sound like a Chris Farley skit?
Yeah.
Ethan, you want to hit us with the results of the YouTube live chat poll?
Gladly. 223 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll, which asks, is there a religious culture shift taking place in America? 78% say yes, 22% say no.
All right. Well, I'll take it. I are we 4 yeses in here?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, we are.
What did I say tomorrow's poll was going to be?
Who should be governor of Illinois?
Durbin
or Kinzinger or Pritzker. You get 3.
Ooh, tough choice.
Somebody wrote on Twitter yesterday, was complimenting Ron DeSantis and was talking about how great he's doing in Florida. And they said, who's the Ron DeSantis of your state? I know people.
Bruce Rauner.
I know.
Oh.
Didn't he move to Europe?
I'm not sure.
I think he might have. He lost and he got out of here. Maybe not. Maybe he's back. We got to find one. It's worth the effort. Thank you for being here with us today. AnnieFryShow.com/podcast or subscribe to our podcast on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Stream us anywhere you go and listen to anything you missed right there. But don't move the dial because the Mark Reardon Show is coming up next on 97.1 FM Talk.
Pick out the jams, pick up the soul, pour another glass of that rock and roll, turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This new pet-friendly facility offers state-of-the-art senior living with spacious apartments and amenities like granite countertops, stainless appliances, on-site PT, and more. Schedule a visit today at npseniorliving.com. npseniorliving.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-900.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
Well, it is 2025. Wishing everybody a better year than last year. Wishing everybody succeed on their resolutions. Really hope somebody succeeds on their resolution. Ignore that. I don't want to be a Bertie Downer. I thought I'd save all the Debbies out there. But anyway, it's still cold. Still need heat. If your system breaks, remember, look me up. You saved me on your phone. If you haven't saved me on the phone, save it under Bart. If you forget my name and number, here it is. Bart Inman. The number, it's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The only number at Missouri and Illinois is 314-293-2600. That's 314-293-2600 or BartInman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless. And Happy New Year.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea.